What do you know about the Lady Fatemah Trust?
The team that works behind all the appeals work tirelessly, and they take no money for themselves. Everything goes to the widows and to the orphans and to whichever kind of medical appeal or whatever you want. So give, because it's guaranteed to go to the people who need it.
When did you first hear about the Lady Fatemah Trust?
It was about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. They said it does a lot of good activities, especially around Africa and Middle East and Asia, and there's a lot of good work they do.
The one thing that has always pulled me towards Lady Fatemah is that everything goes towards the charity.
Things that Hajj Kareem has done, many governments could not even do. Many big entities, financial and even religious entities could not do.
I trust the man who runs it, and it's that effectively makes me come every year and for me to actually fund it.
When there's a humanitarian issue, divisions can melt away because we share common humanity, we share a deep faith, and we want to work together. So seeing this sort of charity in action really inspires me.
And you were excited about this? This is the first time to the gala dinner?
Well, first time at this particular gala dinner, yeah, and so I'm very excited. I mean, I'm a trustee of Muslim Aid and involved in this area anyway, so actually it's very helpful, very useful, and I'm very interested to find out how it goes.
I've been enjoying the event every year and loving the whole atmosphere, meeting amazing people and getting a chance to contribute to the amazing cause, an amazing charity that's doing such beautiful work out there. I feel honoured and privileged to be part of this, the whole gala dinner event.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. It is with great delight and joy to introduce you to the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust 12th Gala Dinner. Now we've got a full house coming, and we've got a fantastic program ahead of us with some incredibly delicious food and fantastic entertainment, but more about all of that later. As is customary, we will begin the evening with some beautiful words from our beautiful Holy Quran, and today that's going to be recited for us by Muhammad Mahdi Kareem. Muhammad, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الذين سبقت لهم منا الحسنى أولئك عنها مبعدون لا يسمعون حسيها وهم فيما اشتهت أنفسهم خالدون لا يحزنهم الفزع الأكبر وتتلقاهم الملائكة هذا يومكم الذي كنتم توعدون يوم نطوي السماء كطي السجل الكتب كما بدأنا أول خلق نعيد وعدا عليها إنا كنا فاعلين ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر أن الأرض يرثها عبادي الصالحون إن في هذا لبلاغ لقوم عابدين وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين قل إنما يوحى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد فهل أنتم مسلمون فإن تولوا فقل أذنتكم على سواء وإن أدري أقريب أم بعيد ما توعدوه إنه يعلم الجهر من القول ويعلم ما تكتمون وإن أدري لعله فتنة لكم ومتاع للحين قال رب احكم بالحق وربنا رحمن مستعان على ما تصفون صدق الله العلي العظيم. In the name of God, the gracious, the merciful. Surah Anbiya, Surah 21. Indeed, those for whom the best has proceeded from us, they are far from removed. They will not hear its sound while they are in that which their souls desire, abiding eternally. They will not be grieved by the greatest terror, and the angels will meet them, saying, "This is your day which you have been promised, the day when we will fold the heaven like the folding of a written sheet for the records. As we began the first creation, we will repeat it. That is a promise binding upon us. Indeed, we will do it. And we have already written in the book of Psalms, after the previous mention, that the land of paradise is inherited by my righteous servants. Indeed, in this book is a notification for the worshipping people. And we have not sent to you, O Muhammad, except as a mercy to the worlds. Say, it is only revealed to me that your God is but one God. So will you be Muslims in submission to him? But if they turn away, then say, I have announced to all of you equally, and I know not whether near or far is that which you are promised. Indeed, he knows what is declared of speech, and he knows what you conceal. And I know not, perhaps it is a trial for you and enjoyment for a time. The Prophet has said, my Lord, judge between us in truth. And our Lord is the most merciful, the one whose help sought against that which you describe. Sadaqallahu al-Aliyyul Azim.
My thanks to Muhammad for bringing those verses to life with his beautiful recitation. So my name is Shalina Jan Muhammad, and I'm going to be your host for this evening. And my job is to guide you through, to make sure we have a lot of fun together, and also, of course, to talk about the fantastic work that the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust does, and hopefully to get your pockets a little bit emptier than they were when you arrived. But we'll do more of that later. We do have an incredible program lined up with some really interesting and sparkling speakers. Now, many of you may well have been guests at the Lady Fatemah Trust Gala dinner before, because these dinners were started 12 years ago with the objective of thanking the Lady Fatemah Trust patrons and well-wishers, and of course bringing together the entire Lady Fatemah Trust family. And really, quite amazingly, this year the LFT is celebrating its 20th anniversary. That's 20 years of continuously helping some of the poorest people around the world, and I think that is an incredible achievement. So this gala dinner is a chance for the Trust to show the projects that have been delivered during the year, and to help encourage all of us to participate in forthcoming projects, both through raising funds in a sustainable manner and working with the charity. Now, the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust is a non-profit, non-governmental and faith-based humanitarian organization whose mission it is to empower the world's poorest to lift them out of poverty with dignity. It operates, and this is really important, it operates on a zero-cost administration. The charity's primary purpose is to undertake manageable and sustainable projects that can make a real difference to individuals and communities, enabling them to improve lives. Now, last year's dinner raised an absolutely extraordinary £175,000, and this year the Trust is hoping to increase that number with everybody's support to £200,000, which would be an extraordinary achievement. And even greater than that, over the last year, the Trust has raised £1.75 million, and the funds raised at this dinner form an incredibly important part of that. And this year, the Trust is aiming to break through the £2 million barrier for the year. So really incredible targets. That's all about the community coming together. Now, while funding is an important part of this evening, of which we won't make any secret, and hopefully you'll participate in that, this dinner is also important that its philosophy is to highlight that charity belongs to all of us, and all of us who are here are helping to contribute, participate, and grow the profile of the charity, acting as the charity's brand ambassadors. And we can all do that simply by being here and then going out and spreading the word of the incredible work that the Trust is doing. And that is a privilege in and of itself. There are some key projects which you'll hear more about shortly that the Trust is focusing on. Solar projects to do with lights and cookers, water projects, particularly wells for families, orphans, sponsoring orphans and their education for £35 a month, and microfinance for poor families and widows. But that's about the Trust, and we're going to hear more about that in a moment. But back to today, we've got some housekeeping to do. Now, this is going to be one of those events where I don't tell you to turn your phone off. You can put it on silent, but tweet, Instagram, post on Facebook, tell everybody you're here, take lots of photos, people looking happy and smiley, which you all are. And if you are on Twitter or Instagram, you can hashtag LFT17, and you can follow the handle LFTrust. Also, for those of you who want to be more fully engaged and aware of the activities of the Charitable Trust, you can download apps both for Android and the iPhone, and you can follow what's happening with the Lady Fatemah Trust. During the various intervals, not right now, you can go outside and take some more time to look at some of the incredible stalls that are out there. You might notice there's a book by somebody out there too, but you can have a look at that later. And also, there's a payment desk, and of course the important work for the evening is hopefully to get everybody to fill out one of the gift forms so that we can ensure that we keep the work of the Trust ongoing. If you have any questions or queries about the forms, please do ask, because one of the challenges for the Trust is that after the end of the evening, many of the forms are not correctly filled out, and the intention that we have to donate can be lost, sadly, because of a few administrative errors. So do make sure you get somebody to help you fill in the form if you need it. Now, in terms of the program this evening, we're going to have a wonderful few words in a moment, and then we're going to have the starters, so we're going to have nice happy tummies, hopefully. And then we're going to have a couple more speeches. We've got our keynote speaker, we'll have the pledges, and there'll be time for prayers and dinner as well. And I should tell you that after the next keynote speech, I'm going to make an incredibly exciting announcement, particularly for any of you who are sports fans. Does anyone here love football? Oh my God. Yay, people who love football. Do any of you love cricket? Yeah, see, this is a subcontinental background. So if you love sports, cricket, football, or just generally world-class things, I'm going to make a really exciting announcement later, so stay tuned for that. But actually, before all of that, one of the most incredible privileges I have as your host this evening is to introduce onto stage a man who in many ways needs no introduction at all, and is really the reason that we are all here. And it's his own personal passion in taking the whole community forward, who is really the voice behind the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust and who keeps its energy building year on year. It's my honor and my privilege and my deep delight to welcome onto stage the chairman and the head trustee of the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust, Amir Karim.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Ayatollah Sayyid Fadl Milani, Baroness Emma Nicholson, who will be coming shortly, our patrons and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum, good evening. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the Lady Fatemah Trust 12th Annual Gala Dinner. Thank you on behalf of everyone at LFCT for attending tonight's landmark gala event. It is special as tonight we celebrate 20 years since the trustees embarked upon a mission to eradicate poverty and suffering throughout the world, regardless of race, creed, ethnicity, language, or gender. While we take so much for granted in terms of what we have been blessed with, fellow human beings deserve our support, whether it be national or global. As our patrons, you have responded to that cry frequently and with great generosity, enabling us to continue our work in restoring eyesight in the poorest parts of the world through many projects such as urgent cataracts operations, preventing forced marriages of young girls and women, helping widows use agriculture and the cottage industry to build sustainable livelihood for entire communities, providing education from primary to university graduation to become medical doctors, dentists, pharmacists, engineers, including deaf children, setting up numerous microfinance projects, helping women find access to employment opportunities, providing water, wells in rural areas, as well as reassuring orphans that they are not alone or abandoned. For all of this, we say a big thank you. May Allah bless you for your care, kindness, and generosity. This year is a special because the LFCT has just been granted by the United Nations consultative status at the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations. The LFCT can now be officially found on the United Nations official website as an NGO to special consultative status with the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations. This will allow us, among other things, to access opportunities for engagement with United Nations specialized agencies, functional and regional commissions, as well as organizations and countries across the world, furthering our impact. For LFCT, relevant United Nations commissions include the Commission of Sustainable Development, the Commission on the Status of Women, the Commission for Social Development, the United Nations Permanent Forum for the Indigenous Issues, the Commission on Science and Technology for Development, and of course, Human Rights Council. We aim to make full use of this privilege and contribute our significant knowledge and expertise within our areas of competence, express our views on behalf of our beneficiaries, stakeholders, and constituents. We will work harder to eradicate poverty. For example, we will emphasize the importance of the economic advancement of women. We will continue to care for the most vulnerable, especially orphans and widows. And we will extend our groundbreaking work on promoting environmental sustainability. Our environmentally friendly solar energy cookers have already received positive reviews, such as from Patricia McArdle of Solar Cooker International, who has worked within several United Nations agencies, who has endorsed our initiative. Lady Fatemah Trust work in Pakistan in the past year has continued in long-established areas, such as support for patients and students in need. However, the scope of our work has also expanded to students seeking to enter world-renowned institutes. For the first time, we sponsored a student to the highly competitive MBBS program at the Aga Khan University in Karachi. Up to date, we have together helped lift over 1 million people out of poverty and provided clean water to a further 1 million people. This is part of the continued success story you are helping our partners organizations to write. This year in Iraq, we have broken a century-old tradition that widows should not work and must be reduced to a little of dependency and humility. By the grace of Allah, nearly 500 Iraqi widows have joined our microfinance project. Widows and other women from the poorest part of Lebanon are stitching beautiful garments for women and children. These are then provided to widows in Iraq at cost price. In turn, the Iraqi widows sell the garments at a profit. that they keep without any deduction, as it is LFCT's ethos. More are joining every week. The success story grows by word of mouth. With the tool to earn their own income, widows can support their children through schooling and into a better future. Narratives from the widows' children show the transformation in their outlook and the fact that they now look forward to a future of entrepreneurship and education rather than perpetual of begging and dependency. One widow said, "I'm okay now. The project has enabled me to meet the needs of my children, their clothing, transportation to school, and stationery." Another widow, Suham, has three orphans. 2 of them are attending school, and previously she was wholly dependent on her other family members. Now, Suham is now able to earn her own income, be a strong role model for her children, and support their needs. The success of this microfinance project goes further, ladies and gentlemen. 4 widows have opened their own shop now. Never has this happened in the history of Iraq. We are proud of the trust achievement in places as far apart as Palestine, Pakistan, India, Ethiopia, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Lebanon, Malawi, Tanzania, and Iraq. These achievements include the sponsorship of 190,000 orphans around the world, organizing Ramzan Iftar or breaking the fast during the month of Ramadan, including among refugees caught up in the conflict in the Middle East. The setting up of 450 small businesses under our microfinance appeals. We now have new microfinance project in Lebanon and Iraq. The distribution of 300 goats in Pakistan, the Pemba Islands of Tanzania, as well as Ethiopia, under the microfinancing. These goats have bred, making the project even more effective. The provision of 400 water systems in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East in the name of Bibi Sakina alayhi salam, remembering the child victims of terrorism and war who often die of thirst or get ill consuming water not fit for human consumption. This is equivalent to supplying water to nearly 1.25 million people, assisting 520 refugee students with school fees, uniforms, and school equipments. The real impact of the trust work is best told through the voices of people we work with and help. These are individuals who you have never met and may never meet, but whose human dignity you have endeavored to restore. They have made me choose between my husband and son. Choose which one I should kill, said one widow. This was the question asked by ISIS to a widow. Here we tell the story of a tragedy, a disaster that has happened to 19 families, 96 individuals in Salahuddin, Iraq. The families fled from Mosul have been brutally attacked and murdered by the so-called ISIS. Over half of the families are now made up of just widows and their orphans. They fled and were assisted by Al-Hashid al-Sahabi, the popular mobilization who protected them and sent them to Babylon to safety. They have been given land provided to them by the landowner, plus a simple building. No electricity, no water, no food. In addition, the people around them have assisted them with adding some other rooms. The name of the village is Al-Hammam. The families have been left devastated and destroyed. Not only have they lost their husbands and fathers, but they have had to leave everything they had behind. LFCT has provided them with solar lights, installing 10,000-liter water tank, built toilets and bathrooms, provided clothes for widows and all the orphans, shoes. LFCT has given them cows and sheep under microfinance projects so that they can earn their living with dignity and give good impact to their orphan children. During the month of March, I was fortunate to visit the widows and orphans. It was truly heartening to see the joy on the faces of the widows and the orphans. 3 widows said that after the accident in Salahuddin, they had no hope. With the support of LFCT, our morale has been uplifted, and we see our future. We see future for our lives and of our children. One widow brought a utensil full of milk and told me that it is because of LFCT our children are now drinking milk every day. Surplus milk is turned into cheese and sold, generating income. LFCT has pledged to turn the land into arable land with irrigation and employing local farming expertise. The widows can then grow vegetable and fruit trees for their own consumption, and surplus be sold to generate income.
The village of Al Hammam in Babylon, Iraq, is home to 13 displaced families. The families consist of widows and their children. They fled from the province of Salahuddin after ISIS killed all the male members of their family above the age of 14. These displaced families were offered basic residence with just 1 bathroom and were living in poverty. The chairman of the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust, Emir Ali Karim, went to visit them. The charity supplied them with solar lights, clean water, school uniform and bags, shoes, and 2 more bathroom facilities, including some medical treatment. Through the microfinance initiative, the Lady Fatemah Trust also helped the families to make their own income, thus allowing them to sustain themselves. 2 milking cows and 16 sheep were provided, producing dairy products for the families to sell. Other ongoing projects in the area include making the land productive so that the widows can grow fruits and vegetable for their consumption, and the surplus could be sold to generate income. One of the widows from the Al Hammam village said to the Lady Fatemah Trust that we lost hope, but with Allah's help and your help, we now have hope.
The marshlands in Iraq are a beautiful oasis of nature with an abundance of water. However, this water possesses a grave danger for the marshland human residents, bringing disease, ill health, and even death. The village's residents live in small huts, on average 2 meters wide, 6 meters long, and 3 meters high, made of reed plants, and navigate the marshes by small boats. Nestled together in tight, neat communities, these houses lack running water, electricity, or latrines. The families here are extremely poor, but choose and enjoy living in the traditional way their ancestors have done for centuries. However, tradition is putting their health at risk, as residents rely on the marsh water not only for their livelihood, but to drink, cook, eat, and wash with. I was fortunate to visit marshland during the month of March of this year to distribute lifesaver jerrycan which filter the water bacteria-free. Traveling through marshes, it was an experience.
Jebayesh is an Iraqi city and district center. It is located in the south of Iraq, in the Dhiqar province. Jebayesh floats on a wetland water surface and has a population of 55,000. Most of the residents rely on livestock, fishing and selling green canes. The region is aquatic, and the approximate distance between houses is 2 to 3 kilometers. The region has very poor basic infrastructure, drinking water and electricity. With the help of the Lady Fatemah Trust, the charity managed to distribute solar lights and mobile solar lights that benefited the residents during the night. The Trust also noticed that the residents were drinking from the unpurified wetland water surface. A year later, The Trust distributed water purifying liquid containers for families and fishermen. Once pumped, these liquid containers, known as jerry cans, filter out dirty water and produce pure water. The residents are now able to use clean water, as well as having sources of electricity to help them with their everyday life.
The residents were so overjoyed to receive jerry can and cubes that some started kissing them. Despite all our efforts, the fight against poverty and inequality is still unbelievably urgent. More people in the world today have access to a mobile phone than a toilet. 2 in every 10 people lack adequate nutrition, and nearly 1 in 10 are severely malnourished. Nearly half of all those living in extreme poverty are aged under 18. These challenges require us to work together in partnership and collaboration for the good of the planet and the people everywhere. All that we have achieved so far has been possible because of our partner charities working together, and most importantly, people like you donating your hard-earned cash every single day. Because of you, nearly 140 lives are being saved from poverty or suffering daily. That is a nearly third of the people in this room being saved every single day. During the course of this evening, you will continue to hear more about the ambitions and achievements of the Trust. Finally, dear guests, I would like to conclude by saying a heartfelt thank you for being with us tonight. We have guests from across the globe, reflecting the charity's own spirit of unity across nations, cultures, and differences. It is through your generosity that our work is possible. Indeed, this is your work. LFCT is your charity. I also take this opportunity to thank Gala Dinner Working Group and the volunteers who are here this evening looking after you, after your comfort. I'm sure you will show your appreciation to these young volunteers by handing them signed standing orders, thereby making them proud of having collected 300 standing orders. As the number of appeals increases, I pray the momentum of the Trust grows in proportion, starting with your help tonight to reach our target of £200,000. It may sound like a big number, but it is only a small proportion of what is actually required to empower communities, especially women, keep the poorest clothed and the hungriest fed. So let us make a difference again tonight. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
One of the most incredible achievements that a charity can reach, which is achieving NGO status at the United Nations. I think that deserves a huge round of applause. It's a really fantastic thing. But I was thinking about this as I was in the audience, looking at the images and hearing about every single project. And actually, in a way, while that is an important milestone for a charity because it opens the way to helping even more people and being even more effective, actually, it is those people every single day whose lives are changed in the most small but extraordinary ways that is really the achievement of this charity. So I think that is a fantastic piece of work. Now, I promised there was going to be a good announcement. As part of our auction, we have some really fantastic things that everybody here can bid on, and bid well and bid often. But a couple of special prizes have been made available for the auction, so I hope you're going to be excited. We have got 2 tickets for the FA Cup final, which if you're a football fan, or actually anyone who's alive, will know is quite a rare thing to have. So 2 tickets to the FA Cup final. You may be fans here and you can bid, or please do tell everybody. We have social media and telephones and text messaging. Find out who you know who would love those tickets and see if you can give them a gift that would be something to remember for the rest of their lives. And if you're not a football fan and you're a cricket fan, we've got something for you too. We have 2 tickets to the ICC finals as well. Ooh, I can see cricket is winning. Let's see who gets the highest bid then, football or cricket. While you're pondering where your checkbooks are and how much you can offer to bid for those prize items, we are going to serve our starters now, and I will see you on the other side. So enjoy your food, and we'll speak later. Assalamu alaikum. Well, to help you after those incredibly delicious starters, and they were really, really good, I think we have to admit, we've got happy tummies and very happy taste buds. You will find on your tables this delightful leaflet, which is called the auction catalogue. And you will notice in it that there are some incredibly exciting things for you to bid on. There are, if you're not into football or cricket, as I previously mentioned, there are Wimbledon tickets. Ooh. So these are very hard to get hold of quarter-final men's singles tickets. So I'm sure that between football, cricket, and tennis, one of those will appeal amongst all the other fantastic things. So have a little browse and pick out one or two things that you will definitely bid on. Now, this is the moment of the evening. Sisters and brothers, ladies and gentlemen. This is the moment of the evening where we have the honor to introduce our keynote speaker. And it is my privilege to introduce somebody who will be able to give light to who our keynote speaker is. So I'm going to invite onto stage Muhammad Amersi, and we are honored to recognize his support, who is a leading entrepreneur and philanthropist. Mr. Amersi is the CEO of Emergent Telecom Ventures, chairman of the Inclusive Ventures Group, and the chairman of the Amersi Foundation. He is a fellow of Brasenose College, Oxford, a trustee of the Prince's Trust International, and a member of the boards of the Royal Agricultural University and the Said Business School. And I'm now going to invite him onto the stage to introduce tonight's keynote speaker, Baroness Emma Nicholson, Mr. Muhammad Amersi.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to start by congratulating Dr. Karim and his family for the incredible work that they do with the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust, and for all that they have accomplished in the last 20 years. Well done. On behalf of the Lady Fatemah Charity Trust, I have great pleasure in welcoming Baroness Emma Nicholson. Baroness Nicholson needs no introduction at all. She is an icon in the world of politics and philanthropy, and she's a true leader in today's generally leaderless world. A leader that is responsible and responsive, serving communities above self-interest, and understanding that we are simply guardians for the next generation. This resonates very well with the advice that our first Imam, Ali, after whose wife this charity is named, gave to Malik al-Ashtar when dispatching him to Egypt. Imam Ali said, "Remember that amongst your subjects there are two kinds of people, your brethren in faith and your equals in creation. Men of both categories suffer from the same weakness and disabilities. They indulge in vices, they commit sins, either intentionally or foolishly, without realizing the enormity of their deeds." He then went on to say, "Let your mercy and compassion come to their rescue and help all of them in the same way and to the same extent that you expect Allah to show mercy and forgiveness to you." Baroness Nicholson became a Conservative MP in 1987, and in 1995 she switched to the Lib Dems, defending her action with her now famous words, "I didn't change, but the party did. I didn't leave the party, but the party left me." She was elected a life peer in 1997, and then she rejoined the Conservative Party in 2016. Besides the UK, she has also had a distinguished career in Europe, whereas a member of parliament, she led the union's relations with Iraq, with Iran, with Azerbaijan, and the Mashreq countries. She also led the work in the EU on human rights. I could go on and on and on. The list is endless. She is one of the very few iron ladies of British politics, but she also has a softer side to her. She is the founder of the Ammar Foundation, a leading charity in the Middle East, rebuilding lives. Ammar started at the time of Saddam Hussein's purge of the Shia Marsh Arabs in 1992. In the last quarter century, Ammar and Baroness Nicholson have provided professional health and education on a sustainable basis and on a colossal scale. Since 2014 alone, Ammar has impacted the lives of more than 2.4 million internally displaced persons as a consequence of ISIL's activities in the north and west of Iraq. Her work spans Iraq, Syria, Yemen, parts of Lebanon, and hopefully soon, together with my foundation, Iran. Again, I could go on for the next few hours talking about her accomplishments in the philanthropy space, but now I will invite her to enlighten us on her amazing journey. Baroness Nicholson.
Your Excellencies, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Mr. Amorsi, very much for that kind introduction, and thank you to our hostess for organising this evening with her committee. I congratulate you all, and I thank the sponsor of the dinner, delicious food, and I won't keep you too long because my guess is that the chef is waiting with more to come. I'm particularly pleased to be with you this evening to celebrate in a Shia Islamic forum. I first got to know Shia Islam when I visited the Islamic Republic of Iran in 1991 for the first time. And I worked there for a very long time as a volunteer with the Iraqi refugee camps, which were vast and enormous and seemed to keep getting bigger. And then a little later on, of course, I moved over to the Afghanistani refugee camps at Madan and enjoyed that also. And of course, I worked a great deal in Tehran, a lot in the whole of the country, because the refugee camps were spread all over everywhere. But I got to know the great benefits of Shia Islam, and I have been surprised to discover how relatively unknown it is, as it were, in the United Kingdom and in Western Europe. And I'm therefore very delighted indeed to see the GCSE principles laid out in the book in front of us. I'm particularly glad that Shia Islam is becoming more widely known and more widely understood. I think this can only be for the benefit of the whole of the United Kingdom and beyond. So thank you very much for giving this purposeful effort to putting that down on paper and to getting it into the GCSE, which is a really excellent idea. As you can guess, as a politician, I have worked quite a lot on extremism of all different sorts, political extremism, IRA, everywhere. And I've noticed that with extremism of the jihadists, of the types who have gone off to Daesh, which mercifully is now being pushed out, I have noticed that the young people I've spoken to about this, in fact, they don't know very much about Islam at all. I visited some of the so-called Trojan horse schools in Birmingham while this was at its height a couple of years ago. The local member of parliament is a close friend of mine, and I spoke with some of the youngsters, and I said, do tell me, where do you find in the Holy Quran, where do you find these instructions? Do you find them in the mosque? And their reply was, oh, we don't go to the mosque, that's for our parents. I said, well, do you learn in school? No, they don't really teach us anything about religion in school. And indeed, these were all young men and women of about 13, 14, 15, 16, and they were superlative at IT, wonderful at maths, they adored science, and I'm sorry to say that seemed to be the limit of their education. So I said, no, I understand you're not learning it here, so where are you finding it? Oh, it's quite easy. We learn about Islam on the web. Well, as we all know, the web is good, bad, and indifferent, and in some cases it's poisonous. And I do believe very profoundly that as a nation, and we're all British, I think, here tonight, more or less, as a nation, we must concentrate on bringing religion back into the center of the agenda. 83% of the world follows one of the mainstream faiths, and the rest, most of the rest follow something else, maybe a more minor, by which I mean smaller following. It seems to be, I think I'm correct, only about 12.5% of the world that is genuinely what they would call non-believing or fundamentally atheist. And that's why with Canon Ed Newell from the Ammar Foundation, and with our board and with our colleagues in the USA from Ammar, we are focusing very much indeed on the place of religion in modern life. And I hope very much that Shiism will help on this. I think we need you. Very important that the fundamental principles of Islam, which are demonstrated very much by Shia Islam, should in fact come out into the open and stop being somehow unknown and therefore either disregarded or maybe a little bit frightened by it. So very important that we should bring our faiths out into the open. I'm particularly pleased to know that you are working, by the way, in this wonderful trust foundation, that you're working for widows. And here, I must declare my interest. I'm a widow myself. Of course, I'm a very lucky widow. I have a job, I have a house, I have family, I have friends. I therefore have income. But it's taken generations, a couple of thousand years, to get British women up to where they may be individuals in law. I would tell you that when Julius Caesar invaded England, he sent a postcard back to his mother, I presume written on a bit of papyrus or something. He wrote, first of all, on one note, it comes in his diaries, by the way, in Latin, which I read at school. They're very interesting. He wrote back, "This is a grey and rainy island. Don't come and visit me, you won't be happy." Well, all right, he was correct about the weather. But then he said something else on another card to his wife. He said, "These British people, they are mad. They treat their women legally on the same level as men." So then it was equal, and women had status, equal status. He wiped all of that out, of course, and it took us all the way until after the First World War to regain the capacity for women to stand for Parliament and to speak in the same forum as men. And indeed, women didn't get the vote, and they didn't get the capacity to trade, in other words, to be able to do business, until the Married Women's Property Act of about 1880. I think it was 1882 or something. So women up till then, as are many millions of women in many countries, they cannot trade, they cannot bargain, can't have money, can't have a bank account, and don't have a legal status. And that, of course, is what impacts so utterly disastrously on widows. Millions, and probably more than thousands of millions of widows over the globe have no legal status at all. And without a legal status, you can't get a job. I also, through the Ammar Foundation, dedicate a lot of time and energy and fundraising to helping widows. And if you don't help widows, there's very little they can do other than sell their bodies on the street in order to feed their children. I was talking to a widow recently who was about 24 in the southern marshes of Iraq. She had 7 children and then her husband had been killed. What can she do? She's 23, she has no skills, she can't read and write. Incredibly impossible hurdles for her to overcome. And she's merely one tiny example, huge tragedy, as she looked at me, one tiny example of what is happening, the lives of millions of women over the centuries. We can change that. We can change that as you are doing by teaching reading and writing and arithmetic, by teaching women that they have rights, by teaching women that they can work, and that happens by giving women skills. And that's where I really congratulate the Lady Fatemah Trust for all the effort you're making for widows, and not just in Iraq, you're doing that in other places as well. Countries in Africa, not easy countries either. And the most amazing work that I've read about in your handbooks are going on at the moment for widows in Africa. And in Pakistan, I hope and pray that you will really take up the cause of widows, even much more than you've done so far. Our fellow women really need you. And I would like to introduce you to another great proponent of women, of widows, Lord Lumba. Come and have tea with me in the House of Lords, and I will introduce you to Lord Lumba. Lord Lumba is from India, and he's a crossbencher in the House of Lords, which means he doesn't belong to any political party. Like me, he left the Liberal Democrats, but I went back to the Conservatives. He went to the crossbenchers. He's non-political, basically. And he has a huge foundation for women in India. And I wonder if somehow you couldn't get close to that foundation. And of course, the other thing we're raising money for tonight is that staff of life, that critical thing without which we die very quickly, which is water. And the many medical people in this room will know the absolute essential of clean drinking water, potable water. And I know so well, so many places. I recall visiting a refugee camp 3 years ago outside Erbil, and there were only 3,500 people in that camp, which is very small compared to many of the camps that we know, you and I. Every single person in that camp had complete diarrhea and different internal diseases all the time. And they'd been there quite a long time. They'd been there 7 or 8 months or something, and still nobody had dealt with the water. So all these people, there was no point in offering school if the children were lying flat on their backs with diarrhea, and they had many more than just one thing. I recall having a very intensive visit into Iran to look at the refugee camps there that the Ammar Foundation was running health centres in. We run health centres. In Iraq at the moment we have 1 million patients and about 500,000 pupils. And the WHO report, they stayed 4 weeks and they went over everything. The WHO report, a long page about infant diarrhea, and at the end of it they said you have the best infant diarrhea cure rate in the globe. And I said to myself, we're doing something right. And I turned the page, and the next statement was in big bold type, now you have to work out why they're getting diarrhea in the first place, and you must put in clean water. So we went straight into water, water, water. And of course, without clean water, all of us will be ill all of the time. Humans are very weak in a sense, and we can't manage without it. Indeed, polio, which I had the good fortune of helping to wipe out in the Save the Children and subsequently as Special Envoy for the World Health Organization, is another of those waterborne diseases. So pure water is crucial, just as it says in the Holy Quran and in the Bible and in the Torah. Water is essential for all of us. So I'm very happy indeed that we're raising money tonight for clean water, for potable water. It is utterly essential. Colleagues and friends, this is a happy evening, and we must not dwell on too much misery. But let us remember that the efforts we're making this evening can transform the lives of many, many, many people who we'll never see, more than many. And it's very little effort on our part, I would suggest, and the difference it makes is exponential to those who our aid will benefit. Thank you all. We must be as generous as possible, and when we leave the room, we must do it again and again and again. Congratulations, everybody, and have a happy evening.
Thank you to the Baroness for those very moving words. It certainly reminded me that the fabric of human life actually persists all around the world, and we all experience the same challenges, the same hurdles, the same desperate human things that we need: water, opportunity, choices, resources. We have so much of that in abundance here. And I think if there was one thing I was going to take away from the many wise, unimportant things that we heard from the Baroness, it was this one small phrase that she used, which was, "We can change that." And I think that should be what we remember. We can change that in small ways, large ways, but all of us can change that, even if it's pulling out something from our pockets, whether it's with our hands, our voices, or our prayers, in the way that we are taught in the Islamic tradition, that those are the ways we can help. We can change that. So my heartfelt thanks to the Baroness for gracing us and for sharing her experiences on this really important subject. Now, just a quick note, you will find on your tables this lovely envelope. You all have one, yes? You will find in it some lovely forms that you can fill in with the lovely pens that you have also. So please, when you have a moment, do write your names, put your autograph on there, and a nice big number, maybe with some zeros at the end as well. It's now my pleasure to introduce Sayyid Jafar Qazwini. He is the son of Ayatollah Sayyid Murtada Qazwini and has been liaising with the architects, contractors, and builders in Iraq, as well as supplying medical items and equipment. Sayyid Jafar and his brother Sayyid Muhammad have been two of the pillars that have allowed the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust projects to run smoothly and with minimum disruption, providing accurate and up-to-date accounts and records. So it's my privilege to introduce onto stage Sayyid Jafar Qazwini.
Dear respected scholars, religious leaders, Her Excellency, the Baroness, my dear audience, my love, respect, and peace all the way from the holy city of Karbala be upon you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Although the eloquent and a beautiful speech of Her Excellency Baroness has made it tremendously difficult for me to come in the podium and talk about my presentation, yet it is my great honor and a privilege to be among you, to present to you one of the most beautiful and everlasting partnerships that the Development and Relief Foundation, or DRF, Chapter Iraq, has developed with the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust. Tonight, as we gather here, we affirm to the greatness of our religion, the path and faith, the path of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. We also, our gathering also is testimonial to the great teachings of the great prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Prophet Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and of course, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. As he famously noted, where he said, the example of believers in their affection, mercy, and sympathy is similar to a whole body of a human being. This is the centerpiece of the whole venture of Lady Fatemah Trust and Hajj Amir Kareem. In the eyes of Amir Kareem, you cannot slice and dice a human being according to their race, religion, geographic locations, or sectarian belonging. Rather, they are all the same. There is no preference of a Khoja over a Pakistani or an Indian over an Iraqi or an Afghani over a Lebanese. As long as you are in dire need, it entitles you to receive any support in the disposal of Lady Fatemah Trust and Hajj Amir Kareem. Therefore, those two foundations came together because they believed in the same cause. And here I am just enumerating a few of those wonderful joint ventures that we did together. For example, the orphans. You know, Iraq is the largest sanctuary of orphans. It is estimated by UNICEF in 2011, the number of orphans has surmounted to 800,000 people. Even there are horrible numbers that put the orphans at 5 million in Iraq. Now, one of the things that DRF has done has been sponsoring children, putting them through schools. What Lady Fatemah has done, they have supported 560 orphans through sponsorship. Each one received about $50 per month. So this is one great project that the LFCT has done with our foundation. The other noble thing that Dr. Karim has went over is the microfinance for the widows. To be honest with you, when he brought up the idea, I was very skeptical. I told him, Haj Karim, look, Iraqis are very lazy. The men are very lazy, let alone the women. They do not let them go to work. I was very skeptical of that. But after a year or so, we ended up having 500 widows being helped by the microfinance, where they receive the apparel, the gowns of their fellow widows in different countries, and then they sell it and they take their share of a profit. Out of those, we ended up with 28 independent widows who have established their own business, and 4 of them ended up having their own shops. The third category is scholarships. You know, those orphans grow up and they need to go to colleges, universities. Through Lady Fatemah Trust, we ended up having 11 students that receiving tuitions and scholarships for the amount of $13,450. And of course, this would be a great help for them to succeed in universities and find vocational schools. The other important one that both Her Excellency the Baroness as well as Dr. Karim went over are the southern marshlands. In the southern marshlands, where they lack, first of all, education, second, clean water, electricity, and the very, very basic services that we take for granted in big cities, they lack. Amir Karim rushed to them and helped them with hundreds of solar lights as well as water purifiers, as you can see. Last but not the least is his support and help to the first charitable hospital in the region. The hospital that I am talking about stands of its kind. It's unique of its kind. Why? Because it has been established, erected, built, and ready to be run based on a private donations period. No help from any government, no help from any religious entities or financial entities. In that, what Haj Karim has done, has sponsored the ophthalmic equipment for our ophthalmology department worth of $270,000. Then he went and bought us this state-of-the-art X-ray machine that works digitally for around $200,000. Let me tell you a little bit more about this hospital. It is a charitable hospital. The fact that it will provide its services in a systematic way, in an up to international standards to the people of the region by itself is a charitable. The problem in Iraq, as any other third world country, brothers and sisters, is that we lack systems. There is no system. There is no systematic methodology in dealing with affairs and problems. Nowadays, even street sweepers need to have a methodology to clean the streets. But in Iraq, as for any other services, they lack systematic methodology of curing and treating people. So this hospital has been erected to provide system for curement. Hopefully in a few more days, we will start with the first stage of that. It has 145 beds with 5 surgical rooms, ORs, and of course, we will have the communication system. It is called the hospital information, or HIMS, the hospital information system, and the PAC system will be implemented. And of course, we are bringing the brains who have fled Iraq and went worldwide, along with many of followers of Ahl al-Bayt, to come and serve in this hospital. Now there is a big room for volunteers and for donors to support this great project. I leave you with this, brothers and sisters. I have witnessed. I call Hajj Karim as a thermal missile. The minute he sends his aid and support, he becomes like a thermal projectile going after the target. And he doesn't take rest until the target is hit and the money gets to its deserved place. With zero administrative, as you can see, and as I have witnessed, with zero amount of administrative fees. Therefore, please support with full confidence, because in my eyes, what Karim has done, no other government, no other religious entities could have achieved in that small region. Before I end, my father has sent me a certificate of appreciation that I would like to present it to Hajj Karim. Would you please, my respected brother, come forward so I can present it to him.
May Allah bless you. Thank you.
We should pray for him, not because of him and not because of his family, although these are very legitimate reasons. We should pray for him for the sake of the widows, for the thousands of the orphans and poor people who are awaiting his help. May Allah help you, Habibi.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Habibi. May Allah bless you. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Have a great time.
I feel like when we see those images and we hear those real data points, they're not data points. They are real people whose lives have been changed in the most dramatic way. And with that fresh in our minds, I really hope that we can open our hearts and maybe open our pockets, because we come to that part of the evening where we're going to invite everybody to share in the work of the charity. And to do that, I'm going to invite onto stage Khalil bin Khalil, who is going to open the floor to the pledges. Now, Khalil is the fundraising officer at the charity Penny Appeal, which provides poverty relief across Asia, the Middle East, and Africa by offering water solutions, which we've already heard so much about, organizing mass feeding, supporting orphan care, and providing emergency food and medical aid. So please open your hearts, your pockets, your checkbooks, your wallets, and your bank accounts for Khalil bin Khalil. Thank you.
The majority of deaf people coming to Atfalana Society for Deaf Children are from families living well below the poverty line. A harsh economic situation, mass unemployment, and loss of livelihood due to political turmoil and closed borders have impoverished most families and deaf families in the Gaza Strip. We live in a very modest house at Al Shatit refugee camp. We suffer a very dire situation. I have 2 deaf children, Malik and Ahmed. I always think about them. How could they receive a quality education and live their lives? With the generous support of the Lady Fatemah Trust, Atfalana Society is able to support 10 deaf orphans and other 30 students enrolled at Atfalana School and Kindergarten by providing them with basic school needs, such as school uniforms, hearing aid batteries, stationery supplies, and transportation fees, allowing them to receive quality education. I feel very happy when I study and play with my friends at Atfalana kindergarten. The Lady Fatemah Trust is also providing deaf men and women with livelihood opportunities at Atfalana Society Crafts Unit, where they receive training in areas of carpentry, painting on wood, pottery production, culinary arts, embroidery and sewing, with the aim to maximise their chances for sustainable employment. Over the years, the generous and continuous assistance of the Lady Fatemah Trust has brought hope to a huge number of deaf children, adults and their families in the Gaza Strip, and help them face the difficult challenges in their daily lives.
Now, the reason that is one of my most favourite projects is because you would never ever think of that. Not many of us in the room, when we think of giving to charity, when we think, give to charity, deaf people in Gaza. You think feeding in Gaza, you think sponsoring orphans in Gaza, you would think, building wells in Pakistan, India, and Africa, and etc., etc. But you never think, and these children, how would they live a normal life if they were not given the opportunity to do so? If they were not able to communicate? And thanks to the generous support of individuals like yourselves, we've been able to teach them how to communicate. Give them the skills to be able to continue life as normal. And one of the biggest gifts that you can ever give a child is a childhood. And that's just one of the projects. We have many other projects that I want you all to get behind tonight, inshallah. As you've heard, providing healthcare, providing eye care. Did you know that 51% of the world's blindness is cataract, is curable, 80% of that is cataract related. And that is one of the projects that you can all donate for tonight, inshallah. Providing medical equipment. Microfinance. That is really giving a family the means to be able to live their lives. Providing goats. Now goats live for up to 18 years. I never knew that. 18 years, mashallah. That's a lot of goat cheese. And they produce around 2-3 offspring every single year. You give a family a goat, you're just giving them an income stream, subhanAllah. The best form of charity. Give water, give life. Education. You educate a man, you educate one other person, you educate a woman, you educate a whole generation. Education, and of course sponsoring orphans. And one unique one tonight is providing solar panel electricity. Did you know that in 15 seconds, the sun provides as much energy that we all use as humans in one day? 15 seconds. So here at the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust, we are providing solar panel backpacks for children in Tanzania, so as they're walking to school, there's so much sun in Africa, mashallah. You go there, you go back at the time, mashallah. Give them the opportunity so that when they get home, there's 5.5 hours of electricity, so life does not stop there. Providing electrical cookers for families in Pakistan, and so much more. And I want you all to get behind it. Before I start, I want to tell you about a story, and it's linked with medical care that we provide. Because I've seen some of the stories about the children who need synthetic arms, etc., to be able to live a normal life. And you think, why is that? And especially in northern Iraq, where there has been catastrophic war over the last few years. I went there in January. I actually went in conjunction with the Omar Foundation, with the Baroness here. And I spoke with a sister, 16 years old, speaking to her. She wouldn't speak at first, we got rid of the cameras. Let's speak. She won't talk to us. Self-confidence is gone. 16 years old. No self-confidence. This is why. I was there in January, around October the 30th, 2016. She witnessed her father blown up to pieces right in front of her. Her own mother right in front of her. And she was telling me this. And at the same time, she lost her right arm and her right eye. She cannot live a normal life unless the right medical care is provided. Unless she is gifted with a bionical arm, if she's gifted with a glass eye, she can't live a normal life. She can't go on and get married. She can't go on and get an education. I mean, in our day and age, our sisters and our brothers, they're not going to get out of the house if their makeup's not on point. How is she going to get out of the house? Thinking outside the box is what we're doing tonight. And we're giving you the opportunity to get behind empowerment. And my first ask of tonight, for people like Zainab that I just spoke about, and so many millions around the world, is £10,000. £10,000 to provide a variety of projects. And I'll talk you through that. Equipment to fit new cataract theatres in the Karbala Eye Clinic. To sponsor 25 orphans for a year who were told are the most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To support microfinance for widows in Lebanon and Syrian refugees. To provide discounted medical aid to people just like Zainab that I just spoke about right now. 666 of them, mashallah. 20 wells in Pakistan or India. Set up 20 shops for women in Iraq. Or provide 200 eye cataract operations so that 200 people can live a normal life. So what I want to happen tonight in London, ladies and gentlemen, I want to see if there's anyone in the room that will put their hand up to donate or pledge this amount of £10,000. And I know there's many wealthy people in the room. I know there's businessmen around the room. I know there is. £833 a month, that's all it is. And if you're in a business, you have all this tax exempt stuffness. I don't understand what that means. I'm from Bradford, we just simply don't pay tax. But £833 a month, that's all it is. I want to see if there's anyone in the room that will put their hand up for £10,000, and you can choose any one of these projects. Choose the project that you choose. Choose the project that you believe in the most. Choose the project that you, your family and business can get behind. Just like we've got behind charity tonight. Just like we've got behind empowerment and sustainability tonight. Is there any one person in the room that can put their hand up and pledge, donate £10,000 to kick off the fundraising here in London tonight? I know there's somebody here in the room that will do that for us, inshallah. You just have to have the courage to put your hand up, inshallah. To put your hand up. Is there anyone in the room that's going to take us there, inshallah? Sayyidina Fatemah alayhi salam said God prescribed charity for the purification of the soul and for the increase of sustenance. Purify your soul. Purify your soul tonight by donating an amount that won't be there when you're no longer on this earth. It will not follow you, but this charity will. Is there someone in the room that can put their hand up for £10,000 and kick up the fundraising? I'll guarantee you that after that many more people put their hands up, inshallah. You have the envelopes on your table. If anybody wants to do it anonymously, you are more than welcome to do so. Just make sure you fill it out correctly. Make sure you fill it out correctly. Make sure you fill it out correctly. Name, number and all of that, inshallah. Can I get the first hand up at £10,000 anywhere in the room? Take it on as a project, as a business. Say, you know what, I don't have this kind of money right now, but you know what, I sell this and I sell that, and everybody sells uttar these days, so I sell uttar as well. And I'm going to pledge it, and by the end of the year, I will have, a uttar specifically for Lady Fatemah. I will have a canvas specifically for Lady Fatemah, and whoever buys that, all the donations will go towards my project, inshallah. Can I get the first hand up of £10,000 anywhere in the room, inshallah? Anywhere in the room. MashaAllah, we've got our first hand up over here. Massive round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We've got our first hand up over here on table 5, MashaAllah. We've got a second hand up. Oh, we've got a second hand up over here. Massive round of applause. Come on, London. MashaAllah. Wow. Oh, watch out, sister. Oh, you got another hand up. MashaAllah, we've got another third hand up over here. £30,000 tonight. Massive round of applause in table 6, mashallah. Guys, £30,000. A minute ago, you guys, this Bradford guy is crazy. £10,000, is he feeling okay? We're not even in London. I don't know where we are. I think Heathrow Airport, we're going to catch a flight after this. We have £30,000. We have 3 hands up so far, mashallah. One more hand up at £10,000. £833 a month, inshallah.
Anyone in the room, the right-hand side is winning, guys. Anybody on the left-hand side? The brother over here going, yeah, but the right-hand side is blessed, mashallah. We're on the left. On the right-hand side, bismillah. Okay, we're going to move it down because we all like a good discount sometimes. Maybe not in London, but in Bradford we, queue from 2 o'clock in the morning for the next sale on Boxing Day. That's what we do. By me, I mean my mom. That's what she does. So my next ask, inshallah, is £5,000 to support the construction of 10 wells in Pakistan or India, to provide water, to provide life, to sponsor 12 orphans, to provide discounted medication for 333 patients in the holy city of Karbala, to provide 100 cataract eye operations, to set up 10 shops, not 210 shops, that's just an error, don't ignore this. 10 shops, inshallah. And to provide irrigation system greenhouses so that there's a way of life, inshallah. More projects will shout out sustainability and empowerment. Those 3 individuals earlier, may Allah bless them, have got behind the word empowerment. So can I get in your hands about £5,000, which is only £416 a month, 68 pence. Can I get the first hand up in the room, inshallah? At £5,000. We've got one hand over here, mashallah, on table 8. Massive round of applause. Thank you very much. I feel like I can't make dua for him. I feel he has to make dua for me. May Allah bless you. Can I get a second hand up, inshallah? At £5,000, £416 a month and 68 pence, inshallah. Can I get a second hand up anywhere in the room, inshallah? Imagine this. I spoke with 2 sisters who told us of their plight. She goes to me around 2 years ago. 2 years ago. And I'm not going to call them ISIS because there's nothing Islamic about them. I'm going to call them Daesh. Daesh came to their town. And they abducted them. And they killed the men. They took away the women and children. This is a story that they're telling me, by the way. I'm literally just a messenger. And it's hard to hear, but it's the truth, brothers and sisters. It is what's happening on our doorstep. It might be in Iraq, but it's on our doorstep. Because we were abducted. We were then taken to a school. We were separated. The young from the old, the fragile from the strong. She goes, then me and my sisters, men came into the room. And let me tell you how scarred they were, by the way. My cameraman, he had a beard. He had a beard. The moment he walked in, they got so scared they ran away. That's how mentally scarred they were. She goes, Khalil, we were taken. I go, what do you mean you were taken? She goes, any man would come in and he'd choose whatever he wanted. Our own sisters served as a buffet. She goes, we were then taken to a prison. And we were there for 6 months, and then we went to Syria. And then we were sold. I go, what do you mean you were sold? She goes, yeah, we were sold on Facebook. Like a piece of meat spoon. Anyway, cut a long story short, after a variety of abuses, after being abused up to 10 men at a time, they managed to convince their captors to speak to their families. And they convinced their uncle to buy them next time they're on sale. And 2 sisters were right there telling me the story. They cannot live a normal life in a refugee camp. They need something to give them hope. And nothing can give them hope more than the knowledge that somebody has gifted them a gift, given them a shot, given them a way of life. That restores hope in their hearts, puts love back in their eyes and heart. And I say that because they felt nothing anymore. They were distracted. They felt nothing towards their children. They felt nothing towards nobody. We need to support them. And many millions of the people that are like them. So can I get a second hand up, inshallah, at £5,000 to continue our pledging session tonight and take us up to £40,000. We have one hand over here. Massive round of applause for the gentleman over here. Can I get one of the volunteers to please go to that honourable gentleman, inshallah? Can I get a second hand up? We got a hand somewhere? Where's that? Oh, is that, mashallah, massive round of applause. We got a hand right here. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing, man. There's any more? We've got a final hand over here. Massive round of applause, London. Massive round of applause. That is amazing. Wow. Okay, before I move to the next, I'm going to tell you a story. And I explain to you why I'm telling the story. So, I grew up a few years ago. I mean, for those that think I'm very, very old, I'm actually 23, alhamdulillah. I'm in the Yeah, I know. Really? You've got wrinkles on your forehead. I'm 23 now. Around 4 or 5 years ago, I became a coffee drinker. Because I was at university, I became a coffee drinker. And even though I'm Libyan, I mean, it's actually quite astounding that I never used to drink coffee. Now, when I started drinking coffee, I started going to Costa, because that's where the Libyans were hanging out. Or Cafe Nero, all the Arabs were chilling out outside. Starbucks was haram to me. Don't ask why, I'm from Bradford, Starbucks was just haram. So I had a friend of mine that used to go Starbucks all the time. And so I thought, you know what, let me go try it out. We were at university, it was, you know, breakfast started at 6 o'clock in the morning. I thought, we have an exam, let me go before our exam and get myself a coffee, because Costa's not open then. So, Starbucks people are very, very weird. That's one thing that I realized. Starbucks people are weird. They all have MacBooks and they all sit there with their glasses on. But their order's very weird as well. I was like, bro, what would you like? I was like, I'm just gonna go in there and get a latte. What would you like? He was like, I want a caramel macchiato, 20% soy milk, 10% skim milk, 10% coconut milk, and the rest full fat milk. I want 3 squares of whipped cream, some sprinkles of cinnamon on the top, and I would like a straw, and I want it to be tall. I was like, eh? He goes, you got that? I was like, haven't got that. So we wrote it down, went to Starbucks together. Anyway, he ordered his caramel macchiato, whatever it was, and it came out to be £4.35. I was like, you have this every single day? He was like, well, how else do you think I'm going to get through university? I was like, very good point. But that got me thinking. That got me thinking as to how much we spend on things that we don't really need. Macchiatos and frappuccinos and this, that, the other. And my next ask is cheaper than having a cup of coffee every single day. It is merely £2.70 a day, which equates to £83 a month, £83.30 a month, which is £1,000 one-off payment if you wish. I told you that story because I know many of us who work in the city and who work in general and who have families will drink tea, afternoon tea, coffees, etc. We never ever think of the amount that we spend. £2.70 a day. That won't even get you 5 minutes parking in London. I mean, in Bradford, it'll get you about 5 days parking, but that's the thing altogether. So can I get as many hands up for this, and I know most of you in this room can afford it. Who's going to be the first hand up at £1,000, £83 a month, inshallah, to be able to dig 2 wells, sponsor 3 orphans, sponsor 1 deaf child, the video we just saw, provide 50 families with solar light, to perform 20 cataract operations and provide 12 goats. We've got 1 hand up over there. Where's the second hand up, child? We've got a second hand up anywhere in the room. We've got a second hand up over there. Keep your hand up until a volunteer comes to you. We'll do a joint round of applause when we get to about 5. We've got a third hand up over there. Can I get a 4th hand up? Can I get a 4th hand up anywhere in the room? Brother's taking a selfie. I thought it was a hand. Can I get a 4th hand up anywhere in the room? We've got a 4th hand up over there and a 5th hand up over there. Massive round of applause, London! That's the 5th hand. Make sure, that's the 5th hand over there. Now, quick question. Who here pays less than £41 a month for their mobile phone bill? Put your hands up. Nobody. Are you on gift card? Are you sure? She's like, I got a deal, innit? 3 called me, they're like, would you like this amazing phone? I took it. The next project is for merely £41 a month, 67 pence, to fund 15 cataract operations, to provide solar light for 25 families, to provide solar cookers for 30 families, to provide water to a village, 15 families with iftar, and provide 6 goats. Now what this screams out to me is alleviating hardship. These projects alleviate hardship. And we are told in our religion, whoever alleviates the hardship of somebody in this life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will alleviate the hardship in the next life. Have we got any hands up on this side of the room, inshallah? £500. I can see some of you discussing like, shall I not? I'm not sure. Shall we believe, shall we not? Just do it, inshallah, make the intention. £41 a month, set up the direct debit. If you feel poorer, then cancel it. I'm sure the charity won't mind me saying this. If you are genuinely experiencing hardship, then cancel it, but judging by the watches that I'm seeing around the room, I don't think you will be. Can I get, we got one hand over here, two hands over here, mashallah. We've got two hands over here. Keep your hands up to the volunteer. We've got a third hand over here, mashallah. Can I get a fourth hand on this side of the room, inshallah? Have we got a fourth hand on this side of the room, inshallah? Keep your hand until the volunteer comes to you, mashallah. That kid is not putting his hand up, he's just climbing over people. Mashallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that's going to give you the ultimate reward, inshallah. I want you all to get behind these projects, and I want you to donate as much or as little as you can, and just do enough tonight, because I know you've all donated in the past, and you will continue to donate. But this is simple. We just need to give them an opportunity to live their lives for Zainab and for many, many more around the world. Now, I believe it's prayer time, so I'm going to cut it there, inshallah. Jazakum khair for paying attention to me. You're an absolutely amazing audience. Give yourselves a massive round of applause. London! My name is Khalil. Have a good night, inshallah. Stay blessed.
They made me take a photo outside, and I encourage you all to do the same. This is what they did to me. So there's a lovely photo booth with lots of props. You can have great fun. It's just a little bit of fun, and all the proceeds go to the charity. If you're into Instagram or Twitter, some great photos for you there. And as it happens, the book that I've authored, Generation M, is also outside, and it's been provided at a discount by the publishers so that all the proceeds can go to charity as well. So please enjoy your meal. Remember everybody in your prayers, and go out and enjoy all the stalls. And I would ask you to return at 9:30 for the final part of the program. Wassalamu alaikum. Any of the food that remains after this evening will be going to St. Mungo's to feed the homeless, which I think is a fantastic thing to do. Now that you're ready, you're in the mood, you're relaxed, your stomachs are full, to help you lighten the load in your pockets, I'm going to invite back onto stage Khalil bin Khalil, and he is going to ask for the final of your pledges, and he is the man standing between you and comedy genius. So I suggest you dig deep and you dig quickly, please. Okay, Khalil.
Assalamualaikum guys, I'm back. I don't know why I'm back. I'm just back. Don't question it. I mean, I got quite a few questions and a few people pulling me to the side saying, thank you very much, well done, and honestly, I appreciate all the comments. I think the best one is from this sister right here who asked me, she goes, so how is Bradford? I like Bradford's good. She goes, have you guys got electricity yet? That was a genuine question. I had to justify that we have 2 halal Nando's. That's how far ahead of the game we are. I ask yourself, how many halal Nando's do you have in your area? Go on. You're all asking yourselves now, 2. You don't have 2, bro. You got 1. By my area, I mean 1 Nando's is here, the other one is right here. That's how far ahead we are in the game. But speaking of electricity there, I've been asked just to finish off the remainder of our pledges because we couldn't get to the lower amounts, and I know so many of you will be able to afford this. And I've met a lot of people that have donated a lot of money. There was once live on TV, a businessman donated £1 million. £1 million he donated. But I know that the donation that goes the furthest is when you're struggling. So that's why I love asking for the lower amounts. And I've got a hadith here from Sayyidina Ali, Hazrat Ali alayhi salam. And he said, don't feel ashamed when giving little for charity. This is because there is always goodness in giving, no matter how little. I want to see how many of you can be able to fill out the form for £100, which is £8.83 a month, inshallah, to be able to provide the following, inshallah. Can I get any hands up £100, inshallah? Have you got any hands up £100? This is very, very easy, inshallah. Let's see how many of you we can get, inshallah. Just before Imran Yusuf gets onto the stage. Have we got anybody in the room? We've got 1 hand over here, mashallah. Can I get a second hand up in the room, inshallah? We've got a second hand up over here, mashallah, from the honorable gentleman. A third hand up over there, inshallah. Make sure you fill out the forms, inshallah. Pass it on to the volunteer. Have we got a 4th hand up? I'm not sure if he's saying hand up or saying get off stage. Get off stage. Get off. We've got a fourth hand up over here. We've got a fifth hand up over there. We've got a sixth hand up. Seventh hand up over there. MashaAllah. Eighth hand up. Anywhere in the room, guys. We've got eighth hand up over there. MashaAllah. Just over there. Make sure a volunteer gets to you, inshallah. We've got a ninth hand up in the room, inshallah. Ninth hand up anywhere in the room, inshallah. I want to get to 10. I want to get to 10. We've got a ninth hand up from one of our volunteers, MashaAllah. Can we have a massive round of applause for our volunteers, guys? Let's get the next one. It's just £50. That's all it is. £50, £4.16 a month. I mean, even if you're a student, you can afford that, inshallah. To provide one solar cooker, that is electricity. I might put my hand up for Bradford. To put my hand up. I got 2 minutes. Fantastic. I'm time filling right now. I am time filling. I feel like a dentist. Anyway, we talk about electricity. Now, remember when WhatsApp went down? Yeah, see, everybody's going, Astaghfirullah al-Azim. It was so bad. I could not spam my WhatsApp groups. When WhatsApp went down, we all went crazy. Now imagine how bad it is for people that don't have electricity. So £50, guys. I'm expecting a whirlwind of hands, mashallah. We got one hand up over there. Can I get a second hand up anywhere in the room, inshallah? Second hand up, we have a massive round of applause. Second hand up, £50. One-off payment, £50 over there with a brother with a bow, with a pink tie, mashallah. Rocking it, bro. That's what I'm talking about. Right next to him there, mashallah. On that table, that's 2 hands up there. Third hand up anywhere in the room, inshallah. Third hand up at £50, inshallah. Let's get to 5 and then I'll come off, inshallah. Alhamdulillah. We got the final hand up over there. Guys, give yourselves a massive round of applause, guys. Massive round of applause. By the way, make sure that you all stay until right at the end, because we're not going to serve desserts until right at the end. And we've also got an auction that you have. I'm staying for the auction as well. I'm from Bradford. I'm not saying off until I can take part in the auction. I suggest that you guys take part in the auction away and walk away with something, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You guys should be really, really excited now, because we are very lucky to have one of the rising stars of the British comedy scene. He's been on Michael McIntyre. He's been on all of our TV screens. He is a legend, and you saw him here tonight before he starts his tour. He is the legendary, rocking, incredibly funny Imran Yusuf.
Assalamu alaikum. Awesome, great guys. Let's get a round of applause to the organizers who put on this fantastic event for all of you guys. Give a round of applause. Thank you so much for the hard work and the money and the awareness that you're raising. This is great, guys. Have you been having a good time? Been raising money? Some of you so into this, you have to take photos because it's too difficult to look with your own eyes, right? You have to take photos just so people believe you. Are you on Snapchat? Oh, you're not on a phone. Okay, young people there. I like to blame young people because you've got too many options. See, how old are you, by the way, sister? How old are you? You're 23. Wow, you look very, very young. You look like you haven't left school yet. Thank you for coming out. You're still quite young. I'm 37 years. When I was a kid, we only had 4 TV channels, yeah? We didn't even have remote control. We had to walk across the room and press the buttons on it just to get the change. So you don't know how sport you are with your YouTube, your Snapchat, and Shalene's just there, just going to take pictures of him. People believe you. I'm here. I'm not that hard to see. Right, so we've got everybody's attention. Thank you so much for coming out. It's a relief, actually, to perform to my own community here, because normally I'm in the comedy clubs, largely to a sea of white faces who look at me with an air of panic, and the moment I say something good, they feel comfortable, we all become friends. Yeah? Normally I come out and all they can hear me say is, hello, everybody. I'm one of the good ones. Right? And they all laugh, and all I can hear is, oh my God, yes, he is. We feel really safe. Well, some of them do. Some of them look at me, I go, I don't know, I don't trust him. It could be an alibi. I have to remind them, this isn't an alibi. Look at me, yeah? I'm not one day going to run off to the Middle East to join a bunch of genocidal maniacs who think they can kill people in the name of God and the fact that they can get away with it, right? That's not going to happen. Just look at me. They'd never let me join the Israeli Defense Force. Is that okay? Is that safe? I thought that might work here. I thought it might work here. But hey, Muslims, we got to be cool, okay? And we got to call out the extremists within our own community and call out Saudi Arabia, because they're a bunch of nutters too, yeah? We got to call those guys out. It's not cool, right? And I can say whatever I want about Saudi Arabia because I already been on the pilgrimage. They can't get me now. Yeah. I went on Umrah, not the Hajj, Umrah, which is the same thing, but just off-peak. Right? High rate of survival, far more cost-effective. I'm not stupid, right? What's embarrassing about Saudi Arabia is that they represent the global Muslim population and they still practice capital punishment, which is a horrible thing that they do, okay? And even though they practice capital punishment, they've managed to find their way onto a leading position on the UN Human Rights Commission. I have no idea how they negotiated themselves onto that one, Right? I wish I was there for that meeting. Good morning, Saudi Arabia. What position would you like on the UN Human Rights Commission? We want to be head. Yeah, we need you to stop doing that because that's not cool anymore and people are getting upset. And approximately 30% of the people in this room might just get that pun. Well, all I'm saying is that I don't understand why Saudi Arabia love beheading people so much. It just must be the way they roll. And so, take your time. If you didn't understand it, look to the person next to you. If they're laughing, they might have got it. They'll explain it to you in a time that you'll understand. Right? So I've got to this point, I realized for the whole of my life, I have to constantly apologize to the extremists that we have in our community, and I'm getting wound up by it. It's like the only thing I'm allowed to talk about. I keep on getting calls from like radio and TV producers asking me, what does it feel like being a young British Muslim? Please tell us, what do you feel like, and what do you know about ISIS? Like I know these people. All we know is that ISIS are bad news, and we all got to watch out. We've got to constantly apologize to these guys like we know them, right? And we don't. And what really upsets me, everyone's talking about ISIS because they're very good at marketing. Yeah, if you've got a business that's in trouble, you give those boys a call, they'll get you on TV quick. Right? Everyone's talking about ISIS, and because everyone's talking about ISIS, they've all forgotten all about Al-Qaeda. Do you remember those guys? They worked so hard, put in all that groundwork. Just one good album. Now no one's talking about Al-Qaeda anymore. It's all about the new boy band that is ISIS. And the reason why no one's talking about Al-Qaeda anymore is because they lost their leader. Now, however you feel about Osama bin Laden, you have to concede one fact. Osama bin Laden, he was the Alex Ferguson of terrorism. Saying even after the American Marines killed him, the news didn't come out until 5 hours later because that's how much extra time he managed to add on. I can sense Manchester United fans in the room. Is that the case here? Oh, it is? I'm just saying, by the way, if you're not allowed to support Manchester, you cannot be Muslim and support Manchester United. They have shaitan on the shirt. Okay? I'm just pointing that one out there, okay? It's a massive dick to me. We're not allowed to do that because there's only one football team, right, that is Islamically improved for you to support. Liverpool FC. Yeah. You know why? Because their motto is, you'll never walk alone, because Allah is always with you, alhamdulillah. Some of the Man United fans are going, oh, he's got a point, but I hate him. Right? Also, what concerns me is even though we've made a great effort in our community here in this country to kind of move forward and like kind of deal with extremism within our community, sometimes it seems that it's never enough. And we also live in a country where it's acceptable to racially and religiously profile people, which really concerns me. But you know what? I'm starting to understand it. Like you all heard, like a while ago, that Texan Sudanese kid who took a clock into school and the school thought it was a bomb, so they called the police. They didn't call the bomb squad. They called Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, right? I'm showing my age of that film reference, aren't I? I know. Okay, right? They called the police. They don't call the bomb squad. And I thought, what? This is a crazy thing to do. This is all because of his ethnicity, his religious profiling. And I felt really upset by the fact that this happened. But you know what? Maybe we don't know the whole story. Sure, he worked on this clock and he took it into school and he showed his teachers. And his teacher said, "That's a cool clock. What's the time?" He said 9:11, and it all escalated. Easy mistakes to make. By the way, have you noticed for the last 16 years, nobody from our community gives people the right time of day if they ask us in the morning, right? We don't do that anymore. So, oi mate, what's the time? 10 past. No, what time is it exactly? Give me a minute. Right? What that kid was a victim of racial and religious profiling, okay? Which is a horrible thing to happen. But you know what? We've got to admit, I understand it, right? At the end of the day, there's people who look a little bit like me, who might have a beard, who are carrying a bag, who are a threat to everybody in society. Therefore, all of them must be searched. I don't agree with it. All I'm saying is that I understand it. All I'm saying is that make it fair and do it to everybody, okay? If you're going to search people who look like me, that might have a beard, that might be carrying a bag, then you've got to search every old white man near children for sweets, just for sweets. And if he's got Werther's Original, that's definite jail time right there. Okay? And by the way, not every old white man, because then that becomes ageist and racist. Just the ones that have close political ties with the Conservative Party. Some of this is a bit too raw for you guys, huh? At least I'm not swearing. So, once I got to this point, I realized maybe I can never win. There's nothing that I can do. Wherever I go in the world, I'll be looked upon through the prism of suspicion, and it's something that I have to deal with. I like to travel a lot, and unfortunately, when you travel, sometimes you get looked upon kind of weird. But the great thing about traveling is that when you travel, you realize you meet people who don't look like you, who don't share your culture, who don't share your language, but we all want the same things. We just want to be able to take care of our families and live without the fear of violence. And that's a beautiful moment when people can come together. And I've got to travel the world doing comedy. I've got to see amazing places. I've been been to Norway recently, and I was really excited about that because I'd never been there before. And when I land there, I need to get to my hotel, and it's very, very cold, so I just go straight into a cab, and I ask the cab driver, excuse me, do you speak any English? And this cab driver did what he's done 100 times before. He just looked me in the rearview mirror and went, and that's when I knew I was in trouble, because this guy doesn't speak any English, and I haven't learned a word of Norwegian. So what do? So we just did the obvious thing and spoke to each other in Hindi. So after we had tea at his house, hadn't seen my uncle for years. He used to be a pilot, gave it up, something about negative stereotypes, right? I've got to travel other places. I love going out to America. Despite what's happening in the States right now, America is a country full of optimism and full of many, many great people as well. But right now, it's not a place that I really want to go to. And the last time I flew out there, I was really, really excited. I wanted to go to, I was going to Philadelphia with my family. Just before I got there, and no, just as I landed, what happened, they pull you aside into that little room, so I ask you a question like, hey, what do you think you're doing here in the United States of America, huh? What is the nature and purpose of your business here in the US of A? And so I told him, well, first I'm going to kill all the natives and steal their land. Then I'm going to build a country off the back of African slaves. And when they start complaining about racism, I'm going to stick them into ghettos full of guns, alcohol, and crack cocaine. But, oh, look like somebody beat me to it, eh? So after I came back from Guantanamo Bay, right, I'm upset. Well, this is it. Ultimately, I've got to this age. I'm 37 years old. Yeah, I know, look well young, innit? All right. And so I've got to stage and I realized maybe there's nothing that I can do in order to prove to the world that I'm a good person. Maybe there's no effort that I can make. And it really hurts me because when I was a kid, I dreamt that I was going to change the world, make it a better place for everybody, right? I don't care where anybody's from or what you think you're part of. The fact is that we're a single species that exists on this planet and we need to learn to share it with everybody if we're all going to learn to get along, right? And I've known ever since I was a kid that I was going to change the world, specifically since I was 8 years old. Now you might be thinking, wow, Imran Yusuf, that's an incredible epiphany to have at such a young age. And is that because you grew up in a household where you were taught about this mysterious figure who came from the East in this tale about the Lord? And you'd be right. Because when I was 8 years old, I saw a film called The Armor of God starring Jackie Chan. Yeah, I love Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan in The Armor of God plays the Asian hawk, an international treasure hunter. And towards the end of the film, he has to rescue his cousin, played by the famous Chinese singer, Alan Tam. You all know Alan Tam, right? No? No Cantonese music fans in? All right, okay. Right? And his beautiful girlfriend, the beautiful Lorelei. And as Jackie Chan rescued them, he said these magic words that changed my life. He said, when I was a kid, I dreamt about being a hero, saving people, and doing good deeds. And that's when I realized that's what I was going to do. Yeah. I was going to become a hero. I was going to save people. I was going to do good deeds. And that's when I vowed to become just like my hero, Jackie Chan. And that's when I was 8 years old. And here, at 37, I'm still not Chinese. There's nothing I can do about that one, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? Do the accent, people frown. I'm not going to do it. This is not the 70s, and I'm not Jim Davidson. Again, really dated references for the young people in the room. I'm beginning to get old, and I'm feeling it, right? And so I realized this is the person that I wanted to be, and it's a really difficult thing to do. By the way, you've got to watch out, okay? That might be the next big superpower as well, okay? China's coming through, fantastic culture. It's been around for thousands of years. They might come through and become number one. People are worried in this country, oh, there's too many Muslims here, there's too many mosques. That might be the case, but in every city, there's an entire Chinatown. It's a whole town. It's too much, right? And those guys have been patient. They've had to adopt Western names just so they can fit in. But the day is coming soon when everybody in this country is going to have to adopt a Chinese name just to fit in. It's already started. I know a couple of white guys called Lee. Don't trust those guys. Definite double agents. That's why when they go into a Chinese restaurant, they can order stuff off the menu just by the number, so they don't give away the fact that they actually speak Mandarin. They just walk in there and go, hey man, can I have another 37? The guy behind the counter goes, okay, comrade. Some people think I'm paranoid. I'm just prepared. Hey, that might be the case. I've been learning, do you know what I mean? You've got to think about it. My ancestors were subjugated by the British, and that's why I look like this, and that's why I talk like this. And you know what? We live in a great time now. Maybe we got to prepare that. I'm preparing for the Chinese future. I've been learning Chinese, yeah, from films. Preparing myself, walking up to Chinese people in Chinatown going, hey, damn you, eagle claw, you're gonna die. Turns out they don't actually talk like that. Yeah, I got into a lot of fights, and they can jump surprisingly high. So what I'm trying to prepare myself for the future, always trying to tell the people I'm a good person, and it seems that maybe it'll never work. Maybe there's nothing that I can really do about it, okay? So I've just got to accept it and get on with my life and continue to travel and make the most that I can. And what happened, I flew out to America to see my cousin got married out in New Jersey, and I wanted to go out there and go to his wedding. So I get to his wedding, and I'm having a great time there, big Indian wedding in New Jersey, having a great time, but then it was time for me to come home. Now what happened, because it was time for me to come home, I booked my tickets so I could fly in the evening. Because if you fly in the morning, you have to wake up and get on the plane. It's too much stress. You go in the evening, you can say goodbye to everybody, get on the plane, fall asleep, and when you wake up, you're back home. Now, because I booked my ticket to fly late in the evening, none of my family were available to drop me off at the airport, which is cool, okay? Because what they did is that they figured out a way for me to get to the airport by letting a family friend drop me off at the airport, which I was cool with, because I know this family friend, okay? I've hung out with him, I've played basketball with him. At another cousin's wedding, he got so ill once that we put him into the back of our car, tried to drive him home, got pulled over by the cops at 2 o'clock in the morning. They thought he was dead. We almost went to jail, right? So we know each other quite well. And we're driving now. He's driving me to the airport and we're making small talk. I'm telling him, hey man, I'm a stand-up comedian. I've traveled the world. I've played gigs all over the place. South Africa, Southeast Asia, in a hotel near Heathrow, right? I've seen amazing places. Right? What about you? What do you do? And then he told me, right? He just goes, oh, well, what I'm going to do is that I'm starting my own business. And I go, well, that's a positive thing. If you're going to start your own business, you're going to be able to create jobs for people, you're going to stimulate the local economy, right? And if you pull it off right, you'll be able to create passive income for your family, hopefully for generations. But in order to start your own business, you've got to know what you're doing. So what did you do before this? Did you study business? Did you have another business that you can build another one off? What did you do before this point? And then he told me, and things became very awkward between us. He said, before this, I served in the military. I served in Afghanistan. And suddenly my back went up and I felt really uncomfortable. Because I've never agreed with the war, but it's a very difficult opinion to have when you look like this, because if you don't agree with the war, people think you're pro-ISIS or pro-Al-Qaeda, and that isn't the case. It's a very difficult position to put me in. And suddenly there's a tension between us. And I realized that I've got to say something because I'm not cool with this. And what I learned is that he had served in Afghanistan twice. And in that time, he saw some of his friends die. He saw some of them lose their arms and legs. Often, he was overwhelmed with the fear that he may never see his family again. But still, do I tell him that this war on terror really is a war for oil orchestrated by the ruling elite who use working class kids to get chopped up on the front line whilst their own kids are safely tucked up at home? Do I tell him this? Because let's put this in perspective now. He's giving me a lift, innit? Right? I may not agree with your political point of view, but I will tolerate it if you're doing the driving. That's the way that game works, doesn't it? It can't be any surprise that so many cab drivers happen to be massively prejudiced. The amount of times I've jumped into a black cab in London going, all right, mate, to the airport, and he's going to be my pleasure, son. One person got it, thank you. So we're now in this car, very tense between us. Nobody's saying anything, but I have to say something. We've got to do something. And I'm getting angry. But then I have a moment of clarity, and I realize, you know what? Maybe I should ask him about how he feels. I've never seen war. I've never served in one. I'm never going to have to see that in my life. Maybe I should ask a soldier how he feels. And so I ask him, I go, wow, man, you've seen war. You've seen stuff that I'll never see, and that's something I'm grateful for. How do you feel as a soldier about the war? And he said, you know what really upsets me, Imran? Well, I hope it isn't Muslims, because we still got 10 miles to go, and my suitcase ain't got wheels. That's a stupid design. Why are they still making them? And furthermore, why did I buy it? He goes, what upsets me the most is that most people don't know how to differentiate between the political agenda of the war and the work of the soldiers, because they're not always mutually exclusively the same thing. And I never heard this before. And he told me, he goes, look, sometimes we're fighting the Taliban, we're shooting at them, they're shooting at us, we're making no progress. Then eventually, pop, we hit one of them and he goes down, okay? And he takes some glasses with him as well, right? He goes down. And we run over there, and we don't kill him. No, it's not the kind of work we do. We scoop him up onto a stretcher, we take him back to one of our American hospitals, we patch him up, we make sure that he's all right, and eventually we release him back out into society, because that's the kind of work we do. In regards to what you've seen some soldiers do, lose their minds, murder women and children, all kinds of people, we're not all like that. Most of us are trying to help the Afghan people. Most of us are trying to help rebuild that country. And in that moment, I've got to admit, my eyes opened, begrudgingly. I didn't agree with the war on terror, but I realized before me wasn't this one-dimensional killer. No, he was this three-dimensional human being, full of compassion and full of empathy. And in that moment, I felt that there's this bridge being built between us. But then he continued to tell me this. He goes, but you know what, Imran? When I wasn't watching my friends die, when I wasn't like watching them come back to their camp having lost an arm or a leg, when I wasn't overwhelmed with the fear that I may never see my family again, it was boring. Nothing to do. This sandy, barren landscape with nothing to do for weeks, maybe months on end. I'm like, wow. Well, what did you do? So, well, we'll just buy some DVDs from the local Afghan sales guy. I'm like, well, what DVDs did you buy? Just some niche stuff. You would have never heard of it. I'm like, no, go and try me. I wrote this routine in it. Just this film called The Armor of God starring Jackie Chan. Like, that's my favorite film, bro. He goes, that's my favorite film. I go, why is it your favorite film? He says, because see, Jackie Chan, the Armor of God, plays the Asian hawk in International Treasure Hunter. And towards the end of the film, he has to rescue his cousin, played by the famous Chinese singer, Alan Tam. Do you know who Alan Tam is? I was like, hell yeah, I know who Alan Tam is. When he rides into your life, you know that nothing's going to be the same. When he rides, It's a classic, guys. It's on YouTube, right? And he goes, and Alan Tam's girlfriend, the beautiful Lorelei, and as Jackie Chan rescued them, he changed my life when he said these magic words. He said, when I was a kid, I dreamt about being a hero, saving people, and doing good deeds. And that's when I realized that's what I was going to do, that I was going to become a hero, that I was going to save people, that I was going to do good deeds. And that's why I joined the American Marine Corps. And that moment, my mind just blew. And I thought, oh my God, we are both the same young boy, both inspired by Jackie Chan in the same film, in the same scene from The Armor of God. Whereas I grew up having been inspired by Jackie Chan to one day become a stand-up comedian who'd make obscure references to the 80s and films and personalities that many of the people in the audience will never understand. Thank you. That was a patronizing round of applause, but I'll take it. Whereas he was inspired as a young American boy, right, to be that hero, to save those people, to do those good deeds, and be prepared to fight and die in America's war on terror. And at the same time, be totally comfortable with purchasing copyright infringing pirated DVDs that steal from the American film industry and inadvertently fund terrorism. To be honest, that was like my big finish that I was expecting to get a lot out of, but you just went, okay, we see how clever that was, but it wasn't that funny. So I'm going to dig in and I'm going to do some more, right? What I'm saying, we built that bridge, and I felt great because he's a family friend, and suddenly I saw soldiers and the work they do, and the fact they put their life on the line into trying to make the world a better place, through, you know, in the way that they believe that it should be done. And it's unfortunate it has to be done through the prism of violence, and it's kind of just made me think, you know what, we've all got to find this common ground here. And as we watch around, we see what's happening in politics, and there's all these politicians trying to divide us and create all this fear. Remember, things are actually getting better. We live in a country here now where, you know what, Jewish people stand up for us, even gay people stand up for us, and if they've got enough space in their hearts to stand up for us when we're being discriminated against, then we've got enough space in our hearts to stand up for them when they're being discriminated against. And if we all stand up for each other like this, then we don't have to worry about divisive politics, because we've just got each other to support each other into the future. And the future's not about them, it's about all of us. Right? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Right. Right, I just want to finish off with this. I'm not going to come up here and make fun out of Donald Trump, because everybody does that and it's unfair, okay? I'm going to come out and say this. I think Donald Trump has some good ideas. I said it. I'm just pointing them out, okay? Donald Trump says all American mosques should be put under surveillance. Personally, I think this is a great idea, mainly because after Friday prayers, we want to know what's happened to our shoes. Yeah? These aren't even mine. And after you've had to walk home in your socks one too many times, you'll be ready to blow yourself up. Don't act like I'm the only one that's happened to. When you come back, go, man, I just did my salah and there's just one shoe. Just one shoe. Have to go home like this again. Guys, thank you very much for supporting this charity and for coming out and supporting and the great work the organisers have done. It's been a total honour to perform to you, and hopefully, inshallah, I'll see you guys soon. My name's Imran Yusuf. Peace out. God bless. Thank you.
I told you he would be funny, right? Even with the data jokes, which sadly I got, so that tells you something. Speaking of shoes and going missing in prayer rooms, we did have a pair of ladies' shoes that seemed to have got swapped. And so Imran, you were on the money. So if you are wearing a pair of black ladies' slip-on shoes with a bit of sparkle, your pair are actually outside the prayer room. If you could go and we won't tell anyone. We've now I'm not even the comedian. We now come to the very exciting part of the evening, which is the auction. And to conduct the auction, we are really privileged to have the wonderful Ali Poptani. Ali was one of the first people to create what has today become the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust Gala dinner. He was actually an auctioneer at the very first dinner 13 years ago. He is an experienced banking professional and has been long involved with the trust, and we're very welcome to have him back here on stage to conduct the auction. Ali.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My respected elders, ladies and gentlemen, salam alaikum and good evening. I'm sure for everyone here, the evening so far has been inspirational, emotional, educational, and of course entertaining. It has opened our eyes, softened our hearts, and hopefully we're on the way to emptying your wallets too, but all for an extremely good cause, I hasten to add. We've heard tonight about the many things that the Lady Fatemah Trust is involved in across the world and the number of lives it has touched. For me personally, having seen the journey of the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust over the previous 13 years that I've had involvement in it, one of the most impressive things for me has been the fact that it continues to operate on the basis of zero administration costs, which means every pound that you and I spend goes directly to a worthy cause. This for me is a key differentiator compared to many mainstream charities, where unfortunately, despite a lot of good intentions and worthy causes that charities work towards, a lot of the money is sucked up in administration costs, which means a significant percentage of the money we contribute, hard-earned money, which does not end up to the intended beneficiary. So I salute Amir Uncle and his team for running this charity in such an efficient manner. May we give them all a round of a big applause. There have already been some amazing contributions so far this evening, and what I'd like to do is hope that in the act of charity you also manage to take home a very nice prize, either for your home or an experience that we'll have on offer. We've got 7 items on offer, so I hope you all had an opportunity to take a look at them. And without further ado, I'd just like to set some ground rules for the event. Firstly, please raise your hand clearly if you're bidding on an item. And if I don't see you, please shout out your price. I have a couple of volunteers that are going to help me take your details afterwards. Secondly, feel free to bid on behalf of your spouse. Or in fact, if you've got a lift from someone and you're going home with them, feel free to bid on their behalf. And on the way home, you can figure out who's paying for the item. And finally, very simply, please be generous. So the first item, let's get started. What we have here is a piece of art donated by a long-standing patron of the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust, Samir Malik, who is a well-renowned calligrapher and Islamic artist. So Samir has produced a number of pieces of work which are owned by art collectors and royalty across the world. So here is an opportunity for you to purchase something that has been specifically commissioned and made for the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust Gala dinner this evening. So it's standing right beside me here. This is a unique one-off piece. It is entitled Al-Ahad, which means unity, the only one. So to start me off, I'd like to see a bid of £500, please, for this piece of art here. Can I see a hand for £500, please? Anyone for £500 to start me off? £500, the gentleman over here. Thank you very much. Can anyone raise me to £700, please, for this piece of art? And as I said, Samir has produced a range of fantastic items, which actually one of is also owned by the Queen of England. So we are talking about a very high caliber artist here. Is anyone else willing to raise me to £700, please, for our first item? Okay, going once at 500 here, to the gentleman on the table here. Going twice at 500. No one else? Okay, sold to the gentleman on this table for £500. Thank you very much. Now, do we have any football fans in the audience? Yes? Okay, I'm sure we do. Well, a second item that we've got is actually a very lucrative item. This is a pair of tickets to see Arsenal versus Chelsea in the FA Cup final. These are Club Wembley tickets, so you will be afforded all the hospitality that goes along with that. So this is a very sought-after prize. I would like to start the bidding, please, at £750, please, for 2 tickets to the FA Cup final. Can someone start me off at £750, please? £750. Can anyone raise me to £1,000, please? £1,000 for 2 tickets to the FA Cup. I have £1,000 here. Anyone taking me to £1,250, please? £1,250 for the FA Cup final. Anyone for £1,250, please? £1,250, this gentleman here. Anyone at £1,500? £2,000, excellent. Can we go to £2,500? £2,250 here? Anyone at £2,250 for me? Do we have £2,500 here? £2,500, thank you very much. Anyone else here? Raise me. I have £2,500. Anyone at £2,750, please? Come on, Spurs fans, your once-in-a-lifetime chance to go to Wembley, and you might not be winning the cup, but your chance to see someone win the cup. Surely that's got to be worth something. I know you boys, a couple of Spurs fans here, probably never seen a cup final before in their lives live. This is a great opportunity for you. £2,750, anyone? I have £2,500 going once. £2,750 here. Okay, it's getting a bit competitive here. £2,750. Can you raise me to £3,000 here? £3,000 here. £3,000. Are we going to 3,000? Going once at 2,750. Going twice at 2,750. Last chance here. Show us your credentials. Are you a Chelsea fan or Arsenal fan? Neither. So you're a Spurs fan then? Maybe. So do we have 2,750 here or not? 2,750. Okay, last chance. Anyone take me to 3,000 for the cup final tickets? £3,000 here. Going once at 2,750. Going twice at 2,750. Gone. 2,750 at this table. Thank you very much for that. Fantastic. Okay, next up, we have another piece of artwork. This piece of art has been produced by Siddiqa Juma, who is another generous, long-standing patron of the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust. So Siddiqa started painting at a very young age, and her focus is producing contemporary pieces which are inspired by Islamic themes. Here we have a painting which represents the word Muhammad, which you can see right here, in calligraphic format. And as you can see, it's a beautiful, soothing piece with a plethora of colors. And Siddiqa has told me that the waves here and the curves are supposed to represent the fluidity of the Prophet and his very gentle manner. So I would like to start the bidding off for this beautiful painting at £500, please. Can I see a show of hands for 500? £500 to the lady here. Thank you very much. £750, please. Can I see £750 here for this piece of artwork? Anyone for £750 in the room? £750. Can we go to £1,000, please? Anyone take me to £1,000 for this piece of beautiful work? £1,000, please? £1,000. Thank you very much. We're at £1,000. £1,250, please. Anyone for £1,250? £1,750, anyone? £1,750? £1,500? £1,500, please. Anyone at £1,500? It's a lovely piece of artwork which would look fantastic in anyone's living room. Would anyone like to raise me to £1,500, please? We're going once at £1,250 here. Going twice at £1,250. Anyone to raise me at £1,500? Thank you very much. £1,500. Would you like to raise me to £1,750, please? £1,500 I have. Going once at £1,500. Anyone for £1,750? Going twice at £1,500. Sold to the lady at this table here. Thank you very much. Round of applause. £1,500. Next up, we have a very special treat for tennis fans. We have 2 debenture tickets to Centre Court for the men's quarterfinals. So this is when we get into the business end of things in the second week of Wimbledon. And for anyone who's been to Wimbledon, you'll be aware that now we have a roof, a retractable roof on Centre Court. So unlike when I took my wife 10 years ago as an anniversary present to Wimbledon, and we got rained out, so we enjoyed the strawberries and cream and the atmosphere. We didn't get to watch any tennis. This time around, you are guaranteed to watch tennis. So anyone here interested in a pair of men's quarter-final tickets, which will start the bidding off at £750, please? Gentleman at the back, thank you very much. £750, £1,000, please, for Wimbledon tickets. £1,000. This would make a great opportunity, whether you're entertaining clients, it's a great way to spend time with a client of yours, or even perhaps an anniversary gift. I could bet a quarter of this room probably got married in June or July. A fantastic opportunity to take your spouse. There we go. How much are we bidding? $1,250 here? $1,250. Thank you very much, the gentleman. $1,250 here. I can sense the romance right there. Strawberries and cream with your wife, an anniversary to celebrate. $1,250 I have. Anyone raise me to $1,750, please? $1,750 on this side of the room. $1,500. Like to raise me to $1,500. Anyone at $1,500? Anyone at £1,500? Otherwise, we're going once at $1,250. These tickets are definitely worth a lot more than that. You're getting a great deal, but I think we can raise a bit more. Anyone at $1,500, please? Okay, going once at $1,500. Fantastic. I have a bid at $1,500. Would anyone like to raise me to $1,750, please? Fantastic. $750. Anyone at $2,000? $2,000. $2,500. $2,000 I have. I have two bids at $2,000. Who's going to $2,250, please? $2,250, anyone? Anyone at $2,250? Gentleman in the back, $2,250. Fantastic. I have a bid at $2,250. Would anyone like to take me to £2,500 to potentially watch Federer, who's just making a comeback, our own homegrown talent, Murray, Djokovic, Nadal, you name it. The chances are you will be seeing one of them. Anyone at $2,500, please? Going once at $2,250. Going twice at $2,250. Last opportunity. Sold to the gentleman on the center table at $2,250. Thank you very much, sir. Excellent. Okay, so the next item we have here is very interesting, and it's difficult to put a monetary value on it. It is a sculpture which has come from Mashhad in Iran, and it's a three-dimensional representation of a famous painting. It depicts a tragic scene from the plains of Karbala. A scene where Imam Hussein's horse, Zuljana, is returning to the family of Imam Hussein following his martyrdom. It is clearly a very emotionally captivating sculpture. And for all of us who are present here today, we often visualize during the month of Muharram, we visualize the scenes in terms of the tragedy of Karbala. This represents a daily reminder of one of the scenes that took place. It's a very intricate piece which has been handcrafted. It's made of porcelain, and it's been set on a wooden base. And it's been, interestingly, donated to the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust by a charity that works with orphans and widows in Karbala. So I think that makes it extra special. I would like to, I have a reserve bid on this for $1,250. So would anyone like to raise me to $1,500, please, for this item? £1,500 there. Anyone would like to raise me to £2,000 for this item? £2,000, please, for this sculpture. $2,000 I have. $2,500, please. $2,500. Anyone like to raise me to $3,000 in the room, please? £3,000. Anyone for $3,500? $3,500. I have $4,000. Anyone, please? $4,000. $5,000, please. I have $5,000. $6,500. Anyone, please? $6,500. $8,000, please. Anyone in the room for $8,000? I have $6,500. Anyone like to raise me to £7,500? £7,500 for this unique sculpture, handcrafted, and a constant reminder of our history. Anyone at £7,500? £7,500. Would you like to raise me to £8,000, please? £8,000. Can we go to £9,000, please? We're at £8,000. Can we go to £9,000? I can feel it coming. £9,000. Thank you very much. Would you like to take me to £10,000 on this table? £10,000, please. Anyone in the room for $10,000 here? $10,000 I have. Can we go to £11,000, please? £11,000 for this unique piece. I'd like to deal directly with the wife, actually. Can we have £11,000, please? She seems a bit more decisive. I did say I'm happy for spouses to bid, and you can figure it out on the way home who's paying. Can we have 11,000, please? Are we at 11? I'm going once at 10,000. Going twice at 10,000. Do we have 11,000? I've been married for more than 10 years. I'm very patient. I'm happy to wait however long it needs. If we can get this to 6 figures, I'll stay here all night. Do we have 11,000? 10.5, fantastic. Would you like to raise me to 11,000, please? Anyone in the room for 11,000 pounds for this? Fantastic, I have the nod, 11,000. Can we get the nod to 12,000? Anyone else in the room want to get involved in this competition? I'm really loving this. Come on, 12,000 we have. We sell the Hermes tie, that'll give us £500 there, so we can definitely get to 11.5, I'm sure. 11.5 we have, okay. Would you like to take me to 12,000 now? 12,000, okay, let's not mess around. Let's just go straight to the point. Can we get to £14,000 now? £14,000. $14,000, 13,000 if you like. 13, I'll meet you halfway. 13,000. Do we have 13? Otherwise, we're going once at 12,000, going twice at 12,000. 13,000, I have the nod. 13,000. Would you like to raise me to 14,000? We are going once at 13,000. We are going twice at 13,000. One last opportunity. Make my day. Get me to 14,000. Do we have any more bids? Okay, sold to the table here, £13,000. A big round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Okay, the last sporting item we have is 2 tickets to the ICC Champions Trophy final, which will be played in June at the Oval in London. So it follows a similar format to the Cricket World Cup, with knockout stages at the end of it. And obviously these tickets are for the final, so for the most exclusive event of the tournament. Now I'm sure there's some cricket enthusiasts in the crowd tonight. I will start the bidding for these 2 tickets at £750 for the Cricket World Cup final. Sorry, rather Champions Trophy final rather. Do I have a bid at £750 for these 2 tickets? £750. Anyone like to raise me to £1,000, please? £1,000. Anyone in the room for £1,000? I'm sure we have more than one cricket fan in here. Anyone at £1,000, please? Anyone that missed out on the football or the tennis? Anyone at £1,000 for these tickets? I think these are going cheap. Anyone at 1,000? I'm going once at 750. Would anyone like to raise me to 1,000, please? Going twice at 750. Would anyone even like to match me for a bid at 750, please? And I will magic up an extra 2 tickets for the final. Do I have a bid here for? $750? Okay, do I have anyone else in the room to raise the bids here from 750? Anyone take me to 1,000 to get me to 4 figures? 1,000? Okay. Going once in 2 different places. I'm running 2 auctions there at the same time. 2 sets of tickets at 750. Anyone like to jump in at 1,000? Going twice at 750 in 2 places. Okay, sold to both of you. 2 to you and 2 to you, 750 each. Thank you very much. Okay, now we're coming up to the last auction item of this evening. And this is a beautiful, handcrafted woolen rug, which is actually been specially commissioned for the shrine of Hazrat Abbas in Karbala. It has been marked in the four corners with an inscription, as you can see, to prove its authenticity. So this has actually been present in the inner sanctity of the shrine of Hazrat Abbas. So it makes it extra special to any other rug that you can acquire. The background to this is that the donation for this rug was made by the custodians of the Hazrat Abbas shrine due to the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust's ongoing support for Iraqi orphans. So let's end this auction on a high note. I'd like to start the bidding on this, and this actually extends to 3 meters in length. You can't actually do it justice here, but it's 2 meters by 3 meters, and I'm sure it will adorn any living room and would look fantastic in a place of worship as well. So can anyone start me off at £1,000, please? £1,000 for this rug from the shrine of Hazrat Abbas. Can I see a hand, please, for 1,000? £1,000, thank you very much. Anyone at £1,500? Anyone at £1,500 for this rug? £1,500, thank you very much. £2,000, please. Can I see anyone for £2,000? £2,000, please. £2,000, and gentlemen, thank you very much. When I came into the, sorry. Okay, we do have a reserve on this item, but I just wanted to mention, when I came in and was looking at the different items on display, I'd seen the pictures of them, and you know, the size of it is very impressive, but to actually drill home the importance of this rug and the fact that it's been in the vicinity of the shrine of Hazrat Abbas, you know, I saw people come up to it and touch it and kiss it and almost say a prayer. So it does hold a much larger level of significance than any sort of ordinary rug that you would be able to acquire. So would anyone like to take me to £2,000 on this rug, please? £2,000. 2,000. Can anyone take me to 3,000, please? Can I see a show for £3,000 on this rug? £3,000, anyone? Thank you very much. Can I see £4,000? 4 I have. Can I get 5,000 on this side? £5,000, please. Anyone else in the room? 5,000. Thank you very much. Would you like to raise me to 6,500? 6,500. Like to raise me to 8,000? £8,000, please. I have 6,500 at the moment. Can you raise me to 8,000? This is the last item of this evening. Let's end it on a high. £7,000 I have. Would you like to raise me to 8,000, please? 8,000 I have. Can I have anyone to take me to 9,000, please? 9,000. Anyone at 9,000? Do I have 9,000? I have it going once at 8,000. Anyone raising me to 9,000? I have 9,000. I have a bid for 9. Oh, okay. Do we have a bid? Okay, so I'm still at 8,000 here. Would anyone like to raise me to 9,000? Okay, I'm going once at 8,000 here. I'm going twice at 8,000. The last opportunity to acquire this piece, and it's the last item of this evening. Okay, sold to this table for 8,000, 9, 10,000. Okay, he's gone up to 10,000. Can we get up? Can we match the bid here? I'm going to be cheeky. Can we go a little bit higher? We've got to 10,000. Can we match the donation that we got for the other item? And that would make my day, and I'm sure it would make Amir Uncle's evening as well. Can we match the bid? How much do we get? Is it 20 grand or? You lost count now. What do we got? We got to 13,000. Would anyone be able to match me at 13,000 for this? Have a bid at 10,000. Can we take it to 13? Okay, I feel we're at 10,000, and I think we're happy with that. So £10,000 Sold to the gentleman on this table. Thank you very much, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the auction for this.
And a big thank you to Ali as well for helping stir our generosity as an audience. And really, it was a huge reflection for me. Yes, a round of applause for Ali. A moment of humbling reflection that we live amongst such great resources that we are able as a community to make those contributions. And that in itself is something we should be hugely thankful for. We now have a short video. A message about this evening, and also the dessert will be served while you are watching, so please do watch carefully.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My dear brothers and sisters, my sons and daughters, at the Lady Fatemah Trust Gala Dinner, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I take the opportunity of the coming holy event of Mid-Sha'ban and to congratulate you all and wish you a great and spiritual holiday. Also, I wish you a Mubarak holy month of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept you. May Allah bless you and accept all your a'mal and good deeds and good work. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also reward you back many times. My dear sons and my dear sons and daughters, one of the great deeds that Islam has asked you to do, to give assistance and support to each other. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said in the Holy Quran, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. Work with each other to do goodness and do not work to do evil things. Even in Hadith al-Qudsi is narrated by the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, الخلق عيالي فأحبهم إلي أسعاهم ألطفهم بهم وأسعاهم في حوائجهم. The most beloved to me is the one who works tirelessly to sake of others. Even the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, من قضى لأخيه حاجة كان كمن عبد الله دهره. Whoever fulfills a one desire for his brother and his sister, he will be as if he has prayed and worshipped Allah for his entire life. Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, he said, لأن أعول أهل بيت أسد جوعتهم وأكسو عورتهم وأخف وجوههم عن الناس أحب إلي من أن أحج حجة ومثلها حتى بلغ 70 حجة. To support a single family by filling their stomach and putting a dress on them and made them needless of others is better for me than 70 hajjahs. My sons and my daughters, in the 20 years, in the last 20 years, Hajj Amir Kareem and Lady Fatemah Trust have been busy supporting and assisting many families and many humanitarian projects in all of the world. He has helped the orphans, the widows, the poor, the students who want to study in the universities, and the sick that need treatment for their ills. Therefore, I encourage you and appeal to you to help the Lady Fatemah Trust, and also do not forget Imam al-Hajj Hospital in Karbala. I, inshallah, will pray for you under the dome of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, for all of you, brothers and sisters, my sons and my daughters. And also I need your dua in here. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Now, to make some of the closing presentations for this evening, I'd like to invite onto stage Dr. Tuha Al-Jabbar, who is one of the trustees of the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust. Tuha.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Good evening. A warm welcome to you all, to our regular patrons of our trust, and also to all the new faces that have joined us this year. Thank you for coming, and thank you for your continued support. It's, as you know, a very special year. It's our 20th anniversary, and it has been a very long and inspiring journey for the Trust. And we would not be here without the efforts of some of the real heroes of the Trust. On behalf of the Board of the Trustees and all the volunteers, I would like to present a token of gratitude to a man who has been with the Trust since its first day and since its inception. He has always supported the Trust and has promoted the Trust's work both nationally and internationally, guiding and directing donors. Despite his numerous commitments and his extremely busy schedule, he is available to provide the Trust with religious support, and he's always guiding the trustees. He is a real asset to the Trust, and on behalf of the Trust and the trustees, I would like to present him with a humble gift as a token of our endless gratitude. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you eternally. Please welcome to the stage the world-renowned Islamic scholar, speaker and author, Ayatollah Sayyid Fadl Milani.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To create a smile in the face of an orphan is great work that no other good work can match with it. And I'm happy to say that in the last 20 years, working with Brother Amir Karim and trying to go from success to success and to achieve this goal, to see orphans in Iraq, in Iran, in Afghanistan, in Palestine, in Lebanon, in many other countries, smiling while getting whatever you contributed and donated. I thought that it is my duty to offer some gifts and prizes in sign of appreciation to those who contributed. And now you are giving that to me. Thank you very much.
The next token of gratitude goes to a man without whom none of this would have been possible. His passion, his commitment, and his dedication to the Trust is beyond measure. Having set up the Trust 20 years ago, he has worked tirelessly to bring it to where it is today. He personally audits every single project to ensure that every pound donated is utilized to its maximum potential. He has passionately upheld the ethos of a 0% administration fee to ensure that you, the donor, have 100% faith in the Trust and that a real tangible difference can be made to the lives of those in need. He is known to personally stay up till the early hours of the morning when funds are urgently directed for widows and orphans, and he's a personal inspiration to me. Without him and his commitment, hard work, passion, dedication, the Trust would not be where it is today. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward you for all your efforts, Mr. Karim, and may you continue to see the Trust grow, changing the lives of hundreds of people in need every day. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and the volunteers, I would like to present to you this small gift as a token of our appreciation. Would you please come to the stage to accept it?
Thank you very much, Uncle. Thank you for your continued support. All right, so we're going to draw the winner. Have you all got your raffle tickets ready? Okay, so here we go. Ali, bismillah.
course, first prize up is, excuse me, breakfast for two at the Iraqi restaurant Al In'am. So here we are. The winner is ticket number 422. Way! And she's married to an Iraqi. There we go. We'll take that one. What, you want 2 tickets for this? Oh, sorry. Well, it turns out there are 2 pairs of an arm. So the lady over there kindly won one pair. So now we have to win another pair. There we go. Ticket number 109. Who is the lucky owner of ticket 109? Anyone here? Where? Congratulations. Well done, well done. Okay, next up is skin facial vouchers. 2? Yeah. Okay, so this apparently is going to be done 3 times. So there are 3 sets of these vouchers to be won. First set is going to ticket holder 229. Who holds ticket 229? Where? Congratulations! Right there. And next pair. Yeah, thank you very much. All right, next set. Number 244. Who is the lucky owner of ticket 244? Way! Well done. To the left. That's for you. Okay. Thank you. All right. And last set of the vouchers. Ticket number 030. Anyone with a ticket 030? Is 030 here? Congratulations! Well done. Okay, next up, his and hers oud fragrance and scented candles, courtesy of Scents Garden in London. The lucky owner of this marvelous fragrance is number 071. Who owns ticket 071? Where? I hear. Hi, congratulations, Mrs. Khan. There we are. That's cool. Thank you. Oh, there's 2 sets. Okay, they didn't brief me. Apparently there's another one for hers as well. So the hers scent from Scent Gardens is ticket number 008. Who is owner of ticket 008? Anyone here with a ticket 008? Congratulations, well done. Okay, moving on. Teeth whitening consultation. Ticket number 069. We're at the zeros all the time. 069. Who is the lucky owner of ticket 069? Where? I hear it here. No, Mrs. Khan again. Impressive. Now, these are a pair, if I'm not mistaken, yes, of Ray-Ban aviation designer sunglasses. The lucky owner of these fabulous sunglasses is number 309. Who is owner of 309? Anyone with a 309 ticket here? Hello. No one here claiming 309? Okay, we'll have to postpone this one for now. Next ticket for a magnificent and delicious cake. Do we know who it was donated by? Maybe not. Okay, so this massive cake, which is actually sitting outside in the lounge area, now is, the proud owner of this cake is number 020. Who is owner of ticket 020? I hear a clap. Way! Congratulations! Well done.
Sisters and brothers, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the close of an incredible and exciting, a rewarding, emotional, inspirational evening where that inspiration and those rewards have come from all of you in the audience. And I think if there's anything I have learned from the Lady Fatemah Charitable Trust is that we can take that inspiration and that aspiration to do better even when we step outside these doors and every day beyond today, and inshallah when we meet again next year at this dinner again. So I thank you personally. I'm sure the organizers would want to thank you on behalf of the trust, and I wish you safe journey onward, home and into all the works you do. Wassalamu alaikum.
How did you find this evening?
Very enjoyable. I haven't been for a couple of years, so I haven't been for probably about 8 years, and it's good to see that the momentum has kept up, that people are still giving, that people are still interested, and that people are still having fun. So it's really nice to be here.
I have been in many gala dinners, but this is one of the best, very well organized. I'm sure they have a lot of staff and volunteers who did this so well, and I'm very, very pleased about the amount of money they collected.
What was one of the main things that you loved about this evening in particular?
I think just the company was great. Just again the inspiration from all the speakers, the generosity that came across from all wakes, from all the stall holders, from even the favors on the table. Everything was just so well planned, and it was a truly inspiring, beautiful evening.
I loved the auction. I loved the rug. The rug was really nice. I got to stroke it. Unfortunately, I don't have £10,000 for it, but I got to stroke it, so it's okay. And I just love the generosity of people that I said year after year, they come and they know they're going to give out money, and they still do.
There's so many charities out there, but I know that Lady Fatemah Trust makes such an effort to really keep it all halal, above board, and like transparent. And this is what people need to know when they give their money, because once they realise that it's all done with such care and such love, they'll have no problem giving their money to Lady Fatemah Trust.
The project they have done, we can be proud about what their achievement. Wonderful thing. Nice to be tonight here, and nice to see our brothers and sisters doing so good for the human being, for the Muslims, for everywhere. Wonderful thing.